Douluo I am an ice shooter invincible in ice power. Chapter 151-174. Chapter 151 Tang Hao appears. Seeing the green light, the two titled Douluo, Snake Spear and Thorny Porpoise, immediately realized the seriousness of the situation. Without any hesitation, they leapt back with Qian Runshui. The masters of the spirit hall also retreated, trying to quickly evacuate the area that was about to be covered by the green light. But the speed of light is too fast, and they are still half a beat slower. In the blink of an eye, the entire space was instantly dyed blue, and time seemed to slow down at this moment. Trees, grass leaves, and even flying dust all become slowly and clearly visible in the green light. Even Tang Hao and Tang San, who were watching the battle from a distance, could feel the strong sense of sluggishness, even though they were not within the direct influence of the field. Guangling Douluo did not seem flustered when he saw this. Instead, a hint of excitement flashed in his eyes, as if such a challenge further stimulated his fighting spirit. The Guangling divine bow in his hand was fully drawn again. This time, his arrow was condensed with even stronger soul power. His body shook and his martial soul's true form appeared. The ultimate feather light, activated. Immediately, a layer of light blue light surged out from the Guangling divine bow and spread rapidly, completely covering the slow field released by the sky blue bull python. The ultimate feather light is not only dazzling, but also contains the special ability to neutralize the slowing effect. The masters of the spirit hall who were originally slow in movement suddenly felt the pressure relieved and their speed gradually recovered. When Guangling Douluo displayed the ultimate wing light, Xiao Han did not stop attacking. The arrow flew out of the bow and turned into a blue-black vortex of ice and snow. This is an enhanced version of the 5th soul skill Blizzard Arrow, the Dark Magic Storm Arrow. The huge vortex of ice and snow incorporates the power, wind, and evil attributes of the dark demon evil god Tiger. These forces merged into the vortex of wind and snow, forming a terrifying energy. The sky suddenly changed color, and a blue-black vortex of ice and snow came over to press down on the sky blue bull python like an overwhelming force. Wherever it passed, the air seemed to be frozen. The moment the azure bull python felt this power, a trace of fear flashed in its eyes. It felt the familiar power in the blizzard, which came from its previous powerful enemy, the dark demon evil god Tiger. That evil soul beast with the ability to devour is a nightmare-like existence for it. Many years ago, it joined forces with the Titan giant ape to drive the dark demon evil god Tiger out of the core circle of the Star-Do Great Forest. Now, this power appeared again, and was controlled by a human soul master, which made it feel a little dazed. Driven by the dignity and survival instinct of a 100,000-year-old soul beast, the sky blue bull python quickly came to its senses, let out a deafening roar, and glowed with green light all over its body, trying to resist the fatal suppression. The whirlpool of ice and snow and the blue light intertwined and eroded each other. But in the end, the evil and storm power in the dark demon storm arrow prevailed. The azure bull python's sluggish field completely collapsed under this attack, and its body was also shaken back by the huge impact force. Upon seeing this, Guangling Douluo took the opportunity to launch an offensive. The Guangling divine bow in his hand once again shot out several bright arrows. Each arrow was extremely accurate and aimed directly at the vital points of the sky blue bull python. Xiao Han was not willing to be left behind. His figure shuttled flexibly in the air, continuously shooting high explosive penetrating arrows that combined with powerful force, launching continuous attacks on the sky blue bull python. Under the siege of the two people, the green scales on the azure bull python began to fall off, and shocking scars appeared on its huge body. On the other side, the battle between demon subduing Douluo and Titan giant ape has also entered a white-hot stage. The demon subduing Douluo knew that the Titan giant ape had the ability to control gravity, so he stopped attacking at close range. He used his 8th soul skill, the demon subduing dragon circle. The shadow of a giant dragon descended from the sky and tightly entangled the Titan ape. Although the Titan ape is extremely powerful, it is still difficult to break free from the demon subduing dragon circle. HMPH, let's see how long you can struggle. Demon subduing Douluo snorted coldly and increased the output of his soul power in an attempt to completely suppress the Titan giant ape. At the same time, Qian Runshui calmly observed the battle situation. Seeing that the 200,000-year soul beasts were already showing signs of defeat, she secretly calculated in her heart and knew that it was time to take action against Xiao Wu. Capture the rabbit alive. Qian Runshui waved her hand gently, signaling the spirit hall masters around her to take action. Several masters flashed and pounced towards Xiao Wu like ghosts. The Titan giant ape was trapped, and the azure bull python was suppressed by Xiao Han and Guangling Douluo. The 200,000-year-old soul beasts had no time to free themselves to protect Xiao Wu. At this moment, Tang San, who had been holding back, could no longer remain silent. He witnessed Xiao Wu falling into crisis, and his anger and worry reached its peak. If we wait any longer, Xiao Wu might be in danger. Dad, Xiao Wu is in danger, I have to save her. Seeing Tang San so determined, Tang Hao felt mixed emotions. After witnessing everything that happened on the battlefield, he realized Xiao Han's terrifying strength. Although Xiao Han is only at the Soul Saint level, his combat power is comparable to that of a titled Douluo above level 95. The strength of the two priests of the Spirit Hall is even stronger than he imagined. Moreover, there are still two titled Douluo and one Soul Douluo with extreme flowing ice attribute who have not taken action. Tang Hao obviously underestimated the strength of this group of people and even had the idea of retreating. If he was in his prime, he would naturally not be afraid. But he was injured and couldn't use his full strength. Xiao San, the situation is not favorable. I will go and destroy their plan. You take the opportunity to rescue Xiao Wu and leave here. Dad, you must be careful. Leave me alone. You have to remember to take Xiao Wu away as soon as possible. We can't control those two soul beasts. We can only hope for ourselves. After Tang Hao finished speaking, his whole body's soul power surged, and a huge clear sky hammer appeared out of thin air in his palm. The black ripples on the Haoshan hammer beat wildly, exuding great pressure. Tang Hao's gaze was like a torch, locked on the few spirit hall masters who were approaching Xiao Wu. With a movement of his body, he rushed towards the battlefield like a meteor streaking across the sky. The roar of the clear sky hammer resounded across the sky like thunder. When Snake Spear Douluo saw this, a hint of coldness flashed in his eyes. He was well aware of Tang Hao's strength, and even more aware of the terror of the clear sky hammer. But as a titled Douluo of Wuhun Palace, how could he back down? The snake spear flickered and turned into a ray of light and shadow, blocking Tang Hao head-on. Tang Hao, you are such a coward, you have been hiding in the dark for so long, and finally you come out. Snake Spear Douluo shouted loudly, and the snake spear in his hand was like a poisonous snake coming out of its hole, with a shrill sound of breaking the wind, and it stabbed Tang Hao. Tang Hao snorted coldly and swung out the clear sky hammer suddenly, striking it hard with the snake spear. The moment the two collided, ripples were visible to the naked eye, and the surrounding air seemed to be torn apart, making a sharp whistle. At the same time, Tang San was not idle either. When he saw Tang Hao take action, he immediately seized the opportunity and released the 100,000-year-old right leg soul bone. His body turned into a bolt of lightning and flew towards Xiao Wu, who was surrounded by the masters of Wuhun Palace. Chapter 152 Killing Two Forest Overlords. Tang Hao's sudden appearance instantly attracted everyone's attention. The entire battlefield was shaken by his first collision with Snake Spear Douluo. Under the cover of Tang Hao, Tang San used the flying ability of the 100,000-year-old right leg soul bone to flash out like a ghost and at the same time threw a piece of blue-silver grass towards Xiao Wu. The piece of blue-silver grass was wrapped around Xiao Wu's waist accurately. Xiao Wu was being surrounded by several spirit hall masters. When she saw the blue-silver grass entangled, a flash of surprise flashed in her eyes, and then she was carried into the air by a familiar and warm force and escaped from the dangerous area. Seeing that the person coming was Tang San, whom she had longed for, Xiao Wu was extremely excited. Brother, is it really you? It's me, Xiao Wu, it's dangerous here, we have to leave as soon as possible. Tang San didn't have time to think too much, because this place was really too dangerous. Tang San, it's you. After seeing the figure and the blue-silver grass clearly in the sky, Qian Runshui's voice was filled with disbelief. Xiao Han had reminded them before that there were two people secretly following them behind. Qian Runshui didn't expect that the visitors would be Tang Hao and Tang San. Stop them, don't let that rabbit and Tang San escape. Qian Runshui quickly gave instructions. She knew that Tang San and Tang Hao might already know the secret of her disguise as Shui Qinghe. If this news reaches Tiando Palace, it will affect the plan she has worked hard for many years, and the consequences will be disastrous. Several Soul Saint level masters quickly flashed out. But Tang Hao was already prepared. The huge clear sky hammer swung in, carrying the force of thunder, directly knocking away the group of masters who tried to block it, clearing a path. Mistress, let's go. Tang Hao shouted loudly. He knew very well that it was not advisable to stay here for a long time, and he must get Tang San and Xiao Wu out of danger as soon as possible. Tang San did not hesitate, held Xiao Wu's hand tightly, and rose into the air, intending to escape from this land of death with his flying soul skill. Elephant Douluo needed to stay by Qian Runshui's side to prevent Tang Hao from making a sneak attack, so he did not go after Tang San and Xiao Wu. Snake Spear Douluo met Tang Hao again. Although Snake Spear Douluo was quite powerful, he seemed to be struggling in front of Tang Hao's overbearing clear sky hammer. Guangling Douluo weighed in his mind for a moment and decided to temporarily give up the attack on the Azure Bull Python and instead join the siege against Tang Hao. For him, Tang Hao was not only the enemy who severely injured the former Pope Qian Zunji, but also a serious concern of Wuhun Palace. His importance was far more than that of a 100,000-year soul beast. Xiaohan, I'll leave this minotaur to you. I'll come as soon as I can. Guangling Douluo could feel that Xiaohan's combat power was no less than that of a titled Douluo below level 95. Even if he could not kill the Azure Bull Python, he could still cause considerable damage to it. After leaving a word, Lightling Douluo flashed and joined the battle between Snake Spear Douluo and Tang Hao. Upon seeing this, Lin Zhiro immediately took up Guangling Douluo's position and fought alongside Xiao Han. After Guangling Douluo withdrew, Xiao Han faced greater challenges, but he was not afraid at all. Under the attacks of him and Guangling Douluo, the Azure Bull Python's body was covered with scars. But, it is the king of the forest after all, possessing strong vitality and unyielding will. It roared angrily, a burst of cyan light erupted from its body, and the surrounding space became faintly distorted. When Xiao Han saw this, he directly used the two realms of ice and fire. The field expanded instantly, and the surrounding temperature suddenly changed. Half is biting as ice and half is burning like burning flames, the two extreme energies intertwined around the Azure Bull Python, forming a terrifying pressure. There is a hint of dragon soul in the realm of ice and fire, which has absolute suppression on the Azure Bull Python. The huge body of the Azure Bull Python became sluggish under this force, and a trace of pain flashed in its eyes. The ice and fire elements in the domain surged with Xiao Han's will, constantly eroding the body of the Azure Bull Python. Although this field is powerful, it also consumes a huge amount of Xiao Han's mental and soul power. It must be resolved quickly. Taking advantage of the realm to face the Azure Bull Python, Xiao Han increased his attack power to the maximum and shot an ice explosion arrow. When the martial soul body, head soul bone, left arm soul bone and right arm soul bone were opened at the same time, the power of this 10,000-year soul skill was directly increased to more than 10 times. Boom! The ice explosion arrow hit the huge body of the sky blue bull python, and a deafening roar broke out. The scales on the sky blue bull python were blown away, revealing its flesh. It rolled several times in the air and fell straight to the lake. Almost at the same time, Lin Zhiro tacitly launched the ice freezing skill, and the lake surface under the sky blue bull python was instantly frozen into hard ice. The huge body hit the ice surface heavily, making a muffled sound. At this moment, an invisible high-explosive piercing arrow flew over and directly penetrated the body of the sky blue bull python. The sky blue bull python was struggling on the lake. Xiao Han mercilessly shot another ice explosion arrow, directly blowing the exposed flesh to pieces. The Azure Bull Python struggled a few times and then stopped moving. The other side. Demon subduing Douluo saw Tang San running away, and he was secretly anxious. He had finally suppressed the Titan giant ape. If he pulled away to deal with Tang Hao or chase Tang San at this time, all his previous efforts would be in vain. As a 100,000-year soul beast, the Titan giant ape is an extremely rare existence. He didn't want to let this trophy slip away easily. Xiaoshui, come and kill this gorilla. Hearing the loud shout of demon subduing Douluo, Qian Runshui immediately reacted and rushed to the Titan giant ape. Pig Douluo followed closely behind. The Titan giant ape was still struggling desperately. Seeing this, Pig Douluo released his martial soul and activated the fifth soul skill Thorn Bone. Countless poisonous bone spurs shot towards the Titan ape, piercing into the wounds on its body, and the poison spread through its blood. Qian Runshui's six-winged angel martial spirit instantly unfolded, and the brilliant light illuminated the surroundings. The fifth soul skill, the sacred sword, was performed, pointing directly at the Titan ape that was suppressed by the demon subduing Douluo. Although the Titan ape was extremely powerful, it had consumed a lot in the successive battles. In addition to the suppression of the demon subduing Douluo and the poison attack of the thorny porpoise Douluo, its body became paralyzed. At this moment of life and death, it let out a last cry of grief, but ultimately failed to withstand Qian Runshui's fatal blow. Its huge body slowly fell down, and its eyes were full of unwillingness. Da Ming, Ming. Under the cover of Tang Hao, Tang San and Xiao Wu had already escaped from the battlefield. Feeling the death of the azure bull python and the Titan ape, Xiao Wu was heartbroken. Xiao Wu, go. We must leave here as soon as possible. Tang San held Xiao Wu's hand tightly, his eyes flashing with determination. He knew that if they stayed, they would only become a burden to their father. Tang San accelerated his flight and disappeared into the sky with Xiao Wu. In order to ensure the safety of Tang San and Xiao Wu and prevent the pursuit of the title Douluo-level strongman, Tang Hao was not in a hurry to leave the battlefield. Realizing that Tang San had gone far, he wanted to escape. But facing the siege of Guangling Douluo and Snake Spear Douluo, it seemed that it was not so easy to retreat unscathed. Just then, a loud sound that shook the sky. After the death of Titan Giant Ape, demon subduing Douluo also joined the ranks of besieging Tang Hao. Tang Hao, you have seriously injured the 1,000 popes and killed many masters of the Spirit Hall. Today, you will pay for your blood debt with blood. Chapter 153 Ring Explosion. The Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape are dead. In order for Qian Runshui and Xiao Han to successfully absorb the Soul Ring, Tang Hao must be eliminated as soon as possible. The three-titled Douluo formed a triangle in the air, surrounding Tang Hao in the center, which made him feel a sudden increase in pressure. Guangling Douluo and Zhongmo Douluo had consumed a lot of physical strength and vitality in the battle with the 200,000-year soul beasts. But for Tang Hao, it is still a huge threat. After all, they are all peak Douluo-level strongmen. Tang Hao knew that if this continued, he might not be able to get away. You guys want to kill me? Tang Hao roared, the soul power in his body surged wildly, and the clear sky hammer swung again. The clear sky bodyguard opened instantly, and the golden light enveloped Tang Hao's whole body, providing him with a solid layer of defense. Suddenly, an invisible high-explosive piercing arrow hit the golden defense heavily. Under the strong impact, Tang Hao's body trembled uncontrollably. Looking closely, it turned out to be Xiao Han. Even that kid doesn't take me seriously. A strong sense of humiliation arose spontaneously. Seeing that the person coming was Xiao Han, Guangling Douluo smiled. Xiao Han, you are really good, the bull-headed monster was killed by you just like that. Teacher, if you hadn't injured it before, I wouldn't have been so relaxed. Okay, don't be modest, I can see your strength. Save some energy to absorb the spirit ring, let's deal with this turtle. After Guangling Douluo finished speaking, he released the bowstring in his hand, and an ice arrow shot at Tang Hao. Seeing this, the demon subduing Douluo and the snake spear Douluo also launched an attack. Just now, he had used up a lot of mental and soul power by performing the ice and fire domain. Xiao Han floated in the air and took the opportunity to recover. Under the continuous attacks of the three-titled Douluo, the Haoshan bodyguard gradually lost its strength. Tang Hao's blood vessels were constantly vibrating, and his injuries gradually worsened. Physical and soul power were also constantly being consumed, and the situation became increasingly critical. HMPH, let me show you what the Haoshan hammer really is. The power of. A trace of determination flashed in Tang Hao's eyes. He knew that conventional fighting methods could no longer help him get out of the predicament. At this critical moment, he made a bold decision, to use the Haoshan sect's magic skill, the Great Zumi Hammer, to explode the ring. This is the desperate skill of the Great Zumi Hammer. Each soul ring can be exploded once, and the power of the soul ring will burst out completely after the explosion, instantly becoming its own power and integrating into the attack. When all soul rings have been exploded, the user himself will also enter a weak state. Therefore, using this skill is also extremely dangerous. If you can't control it well, and your own ability cannot suppress the power generated by the ring explosion, you may be backfired by the energy of the ring explosion. Moreover, the cost of using this unique skill is also huge. All soul rings will disappear within 3 days, and only soul power will remain. Tang Hao is injured, and his body is not enough to support multiple ring explosions. But, he has no choice now. It is almost impossible to escape from the siege of the two great priests and a titled Douluo. Only by fighting to the death, there may be a glimmer of hope. Even if I die today, I will drag you guys down with me. Tang Hao roared, and the soul rings all over his body seemed to respond to his call, and began to tremble violently, and the light was bright. Immediately afterwards, an unprecedented terrifying energy burst out in his body, and the first soul ring exploded instantly like a ignited dynamite. As the ring was used, the space around Tang Hao seemed to be torn apart, and the powerful energy fluctuations made the surrounding air emit a sharp whistle. The attacks of Guangling Douluo, Conquering Demon Douluo and Snake Spear Douluo seemed insignificant at this moment, and they were repelled by this violent energy shock wave. What kind of power is this? Guangling Douluo's face changed drastically. He had never seen such a terrifying skill. Even as a peak Douluo, he felt an unprecedented shock at this moment. Xiao Han was recovering in the air. Feeling this power, he couldn't help but stop practicing and looked at Tang Hao with a serious look. He knew that Tang Hao was fighting for his life. After the ring exploded, Tang Hao's breath became extremely unstable, but his strength reached its peak at this moment. He waved the clear sky hammer with the power of destroying the world and went straight to the three titled Douluos. The three Guangling Douluos did not dare to be careless. They all used their most powerful soul skills to try to suppress Tang Hao's offensive. However, Tang Hao in the ring explosion state seemed to have surpassed the limit of human beings. Although he was seriously injured, his will was as tough as steel. Just when Tang Hao was about to blow up his second soul ring, a cold and hot air, a huge vortex of intertwined breaths descended from the sky, enveloping Tang Hao and his spirit rings. It turned out that Xiao Han had once again used the ice and fire yin-yang domain. The power of the two Dragon Kings suddenly burst out from his body, and the devouring power of the dark demon evil god Pearl merged into it. The vortex suddenly turned black, and two dragon shadows, one blue and one red, appeared faintly, circling around Tang Hao. Tang Hao felt an invisible and powerful pressure, like an insurmountable mountain, weighing heavily on his heart and soul. Even though he endured the pain and resolutely blew up his second spirit ring, hoping to break through the heavy shackles, the result broke his heart. The powerful energy brought by the ring explosion was disappearing at an alarming speed, as if it was swallowed by the dark vortex of ice and fire. Because of the backlash of power, Tang Hao's already scarred body suffered a heavier blow. Go to hell. Tang Hao didn't know why Xiao Han could perform such a powerful skill. He resolutely blew up his third soul ring, trying to break through the shackles with more powerful energy. Boom. At the moment the soul ring exploded, Tang Hao's body trembled violently, and his face instantly turned pale as paper. An indescribable pain surged from the depths of his soul, accompanied by the aftermath of the ring explosion, raging in his body, as if to tear him into pieces. Ah! A low and painful groan overflowed from Tang Hao's clenched teeth. He only felt a stuffy heat in his chest. Immediately afterwards, a mouthful of bright red blood spurted out uncontrollably. Looking at Xiao Han, Tang Hao's eyes flashed with a trace of unwillingness and despair. He had never thought that he would lose to a young soul master in such an embarrassing manner. But the reality was so cruel that even if he used the most powerful skills of the Haoshan sect, he still could not escape. Everyone was shocked by the scene in front of them. No one expected that Xiao Han, a young soul master, could burst out such a terrifying power. Tang Hao gritted his teeth and closed his eyes. He had 6 soul bones on his body. Even if he died, he could not let these soul bones fall into the hands of the enemy. Chapter 154 Tang Hao exploded and died. Tang Hao had been forced into a desperate situation. In a mixture of despair and unwillingness, he resolutely detonated the 4th soul ring. With a roar that shook the earth, a powerful energy shock wave spread wildly around Tang Hao. The surrounding trees broke under the impact of this force, and huge cracks appeared on the ground. The whole space seemed to be shaking. Seeing this, Xiao Han's eyes condensed, and the absolute defense was opened. A huge blue-gray light curtain was formed instantly, blocking Qian Runshui and Lin Zhiro and their group behind the curtain. Even so, you can also feel the shock caused by the shock wave. Lightling Douluo and demon-conquering Douluo also used powerful defensive soul skills to resist the devastating blow with Xiao Han. In the distant sky, a gloomy look flashed across. It was Tang San who was escaping quickly. On the way to escape, Tang San and Xiao Wu felt increasingly uneasy. Until this moment, he felt Tang Hao's breath suddenly disappear, and a wave of grief surged into his heart. Dad! Tang San shouted out in despair. He never thought that his powerful father would die in the Stardo forest. He knew that they were not completely out of danger yet. It was in order to cover their retreat that their father fought desperately with the enemy. They must survive. Xiao Wu, let's go quickly. Without any time to think, Tang San took Xiao Wu and fled further away. The fire of revenge burned brightly in his heart. He swore that sooner or later, he would cut all his enemies into pieces. In the center of the explosion, Tang Hao's figure no longer existed, leaving only a mess. Soon, everything calmed down. Qian Runshui walked towards Xiao Han, feeling unbelievable. Tang Hao is dead. Xiao Han nodded. He was counterattacked by the energy after his soul ring exploded, and he was already shattered to pieces. Lightling Douluo looked at the messy place after the explosion, with a flash of wonder in his eyes. I really didn't expect that Tang Hao would actually master the ability to blow up soul rings. That power is really terrifying. As Guangling Douluo spoke, his eyes fell on Xiao Han. Xiao Han, fortunately you are here, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. Your strength is far beyond my imagination. Demon-conquering Douluo also echoed. Yes, even we are shocked by such power. Xiao Han's ability is really admirable. Demon-conquering Douluo also looked at Xiao Han. Boy, I have a heavenly awakening holy golden dragon sealed in my demon-conquering stick. There seem to be 2 dragon shadows in the soul skill you just performed. Could it be that there is also a giant dragon sealed in your bow and arrow? Xiao Han smiled and shook his head. Senior, to be honest, by chance, I gained a special ability that can draw on the power of ice dragons and fire dragons. After hearing this, everyone was even more shocked. So you have double dragons to protect your body. No wonder you are so powerful. Even if Tang Hao uses his special skills, he can't compete with the power of the double dragons. When Tang Hao was mentioned, everyone's eyes unconsciously fell on the mess. Xiao Han knew that Tang Hao had 6 soul bones in his body, which were scattered throughout the forest as his body exploded. Too late to take care of anything else. The more important thing at the moment is to absorb the Azure Bull Python's soul ring first, and then look for the 6 soul bones. Guangling Douluo looked at Qian Runshui and Xiao Han and said. Xiaoshui, Xiao Han, please adjust your state and prepare to absorb the soul ring. Good. Qian Runshui and Xiao Han looked at each other and smiled. This time the soul hunting plan went quite smoothly, with no near misses. Moreover, Tang Hao died tragically, and her revenge for killing her father was finally avenged. The 200,000-year-old soul rings blooming with red light were quietly suspended in the air. After adjusting their condition, Qian Runshui and Xiao Han sat under their respective soul rings and began to absorb them. Guang Ling Douluo, Lin Zhiro and others were waiting quietly. Xiao Han had already absorbed a 100,000-year soul ring, and was protected by 2 dragons, so absorbing the Azure Bull Python's soul ring would not be a problem. Qian Runshui's soul power is only level 70, so it may be difficult to control a 100,000-year soul ring. However, she has the legendary Seraph martial spirit, which is superior in quality to most top-tier martial arts, so there should be no problem. Time passes minute by minute. From day to night. Xiao Han was the first to wake up from absorbing the soul ring. He clearly felt that his overall strength had improved to another level. The 2 realms of ice and fire used when dealing with Tang Hao allowed the power of the 2 dragon kings in his body to be released to a greater extent. Under this effect, after absorbing the Azure Bull Python's soul ring, not only did he possess another 100,000-year soul ring, but the 3rd soul ring also completed its transformation and became a 10,000-year soul ring. The Azure Bull Python has powerful mental power. After absorbing it, Xiao Han's mental skull also jumped to the 100,000-year level, and his mental power was elevated to a higher level. Lin Zhiro walked towards Xiao Han and said with a smile, "Xiao Han, you have absorbed the soul ring so quickly. This is the soul bone that fell from that soul beast. Let's fuse it too." Good. Xiao Han took the soul bone. It has a faint cyan luster on its surface, and judging from its shape, it is a right leg soul bone. Xiao Han pressed the soul bone on his right leg, urging his soul power to fuse it. In a moment, the soul bone was integrated into his right leg. Is this the end? Lin Zhiro looked at Xiao Han with some surprise. Xiao Han nodded calmly. After absorbing the Azure Bull Python's soul ring and soul bone, Xiao Han's soul power directly reached level 85. He has obtained 200,000-year soul ring skills and 200,000-year soul bone skills, and also has a slow field, which greatly increases his overall strength. The 200,000-year soul skills are Ice Azure Dragon Soul and Ice Azure Dragon Seal. Ice Azure Dragon Soul. When this soul skill is used, the arrows can turn into a huge blue ice dragon shadow, which attacks the enemy with great power. Ice Azure Dragon Sealing is a more powerful ice sealing skill that can instantly forming an ice sealed domain. The skills of the 100,000-year right leg soul bone are Azure Desolation Arrow and Azure God Locking Arrow. Azure Desolation Arrow is a powerful single target attack skill. The ice arrow incorporates the lightning power of Azure Bull Python. It is not only extremely cold, but also has a strong explosion effect. Azure God Locking Arrow is a control skill that can not only slow down all states of the enemy by 10 times, but also track and lock the enemy and give a fatal blow. The slowdown domain can fully restrict the opponent in terms of action and spirit. Although the power of this domain is not as good as the yin-yang domain of ice and fire, it consumes less soul power and mental power when it is used. Xiao Han told Lin Zhiro all the improvements he had obtained. Lin Zhiro was shocked again. Qian Runshui was still absorbing the soul ring, and the people of the spirit hall were guarding her. Xiao Han said softly, "Mom, Tang Hao has 6 soul bones. After he exploded, his soul bones were scattered in the forest. I want to go and look for them. He has 6 soul bones." "Yes. You go to sleep first, I'll go and see." After Xiao Han finished speaking, he turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the night. Chapter 155. Gift of 100,000-Year Soul Bones. The night was as dark as ink, and there was silence in the Xingdu Great Forest, with only the occasional roar of beasts breaking the silence. After his spirit skull reached the 100,000-year level, Xiao Han's mental power became stronger than ever before. His perception could penetrate the night and capture every subtle fluctuation. At the moment Tang Hao exploded, a few points of light scattered around. In a flash, Xiao Han remembered the direction of the scattered soul bones. Following the direction of the scattered soul bones, Xiao Han's figure was like a ghost, quickly shuttling through the forest. At the same time, far away from the other side of the star forest, Tang San and Xiao Wu were flying hard. Their figures cut through the night sky, leaving a trail of meteors. Finally escaped from the star forest. After the two landed, Tang San's face was solemn, and complex emotions flashed in his eyes. During the escape, he was always nervous. After stopping, he recovered from his father's death. At this time, he was in tears. Dad, I'm sorry, I hurt you. Xiaowu took Tang San's hands, also in tears, and comforted him. Third brother, if you want to say sorry, I am the one, I have implicated you, I killed Uncle Tang. Moreover, Daming and Erming also died because of me, I am the real sinner. From the beginning, I should not have appeared in your life. No. Xiao Wu, this is not your fault. Tang San hugged Xiao Wu, gritting his teeth. This is all the fault of the Spirit Hall, it's Xiao Han's fault. One day, I will make them pay with blood. I will tear those people into pieces. Tang San knew that there was a huge gap between his current strength and Xiao Han's. But he was not discouraged. He believed that with his twin spirit talents, as long as he worked hard enough, he would catch up with or even surpass Xiao Han one day. Xiao Han destroyed everything he had, he must make Xiao Han pay the price. After calming down, Tang San said, Xiao Wu, we have to act separately. Xiao Wu nodded. She knew that Tang San made such a decision after careful consideration. Brother, what are your plans? Several teachers are still in Shrek Academy. Go back and tell them everything that happened in the center of the Stardo Forest. Especially the fake identity of Prince Shui Qinghe and the conspiracy of the Spirit Hall. Let the teachers remind Emperor Shui Yi and Sect Master Ning to make preparations early and not let the conspiracy of the Spirit Hall succeed. Brother, what about you? Where are you going? Won't you go back to the academy with me? Xiao Wu's eyes were wet again. She held Tang San's hand tightly, with reluctance and a little worry in her voice. I'm going to the Haoshan sect. Tang San took a deep breath, his eyes firm. Everything that happened in the center of the forest, and my father's death, I must tell the sect in person. Tang San heard from Tang Hao that in addition to the current sect master Tang Xiao, the other 5 elders of the Haoshan sect are also titled Douluo-level powerhouses. He wanted to use the power of the Haoshan sect to fight against Xiao Han and the Spirit Hall. Xiao Wu nodded. Although she was reluctant, she knew that this was the reality they had to face. Tang San was also reluctant to let Xiao Wu go after reuniting with her. However, he could not take Xiao Wu back to Haoshan sect because Xiao Wu was a soul beast. The people in the sect would never want to see him make the same mistake that Tang Hao made. In Shrek Academy, Yu Xiaogang, Lu Erlong and Flanders would do their best to protect Xiao Wu. For the sake of the overall situation and to keep Xiao Wu safe, Tang San had to make such a decision. Xiao Wu, bring the news back as soon as possible. Remember, never leave Shrek Academy and act alone. Brother, don't worry about me, I will be fine, you should pay attention to your own safety. Well, don't worry, I will be fine too. The two looked at each other deeply in the moonlight and said goodbye. Then, Xiao Wu turned around, turned into a pink light, and ran towards Tiando City. Tang San stood there, watching Xiao Wu's back gradually disappear into the sky. Then, he turned around and ran towards the direction of Haoshan sect. With his memory and strong mental power, Xiao Han found all 6 soul bones that were scattered in the forest after Tang Hao's body exploded and died before dawn. Then, he returned to where everyone was. At this time, Qian Runshui has woken up from the state of absorbing the soul ring. Xiao Han could feel that Qian Runshui was emitting an even more powerful aura. Obviously, the 100,000-year soul ring brought her a huge improvement. As a result, she gained the ability to release her martial soul's true form. The true body of the 6-winged angel is an extremely powerful existence, which cannot be compared with the true body of an ordinary martial spirit. Xiao Han, come here for a moment. Qian Runshui's voice is very gentle. She called Xiao Han aside and looked at him with gratitude in her eyes. Thanks to you this time, you not only protected us, but also killed my father's murderer Tang Hao, allowing me to successfully absorb the 100,000-year spirit ring. This is the joint achievement of everyone. I can't do so much by myself. Moreover, I have also gained something. By the way, how do you feel? How much has your soul power increased? I feel great. My soul power has increased by 5 levels at once. The most important thing is that I have the ability to release the angel's true body. During this period, Qian Runshui has always shown her true face to others and she is in a good mood. The success of the soul hunting plan and the death of her enemy Tang Hao made her even happier. Xiao Han, I have something to give you. As Qian Runshui spoke, she took out a soul bone emitting golden light from her storage ring. It was the 100,000-year-old left leg bone that fell from the Titan giant ape. Is this the soul bone dropped from the Titan ape? Xiao Han was stunned. He didn't expect Qian Runshui to be so generous as to give him the 100,000-year soul bone. Take it. Qian Runshui's smile was warm and sincere. If it weren't for the immortal herb you gave me, I might not have been able to break through level 70 so quickly. If you hadn't told me the truth, I would not have been able to have that 100,000-year spirit ring. Although this spirit bone is precious, but I don't need it. It suits you better. I hope you can make good use of its power and protect the peace of Douluo continent with me. Xiao Han looked at Qian Runshui, with complex emotions surging in his heart. He knew that Qian Runshui, as the successor of the six-winged angel martial spirit, possessed special inherited soul bones and did not need to absorb other soul bones. But no matter what, this is a 100,000-year soul bone, which is really too precious. I know that the immortal herb you gave me is much more precious than this 100,000-year-old soul bone. Just consider it as my return gift. Okay. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Xiao Han no longer hesitated and solemnly took the 100,000-year soul bone. Then, he took out a soul bone with a red glow from the storage container. It's a gift in return. We don't have any use for this fire attribute soul bone, so I'm giving it to you. I know you don't have any use for it either, but take it first. Maybe it will be useful to you in the future. Chapter 156 Yu Shaoging's mentality explodes. Qian Runshui took the soul bone handed to her by Xiao Han, and a hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. This soul bone has a reddish luster and faintly reveals a fiery aura. It is of good quality and is about 30,000 years old. Xiao Han explained with a smile. This dropped from Tang Hao. Qian Runshui was even happier when she learned that this soul bone dropped from Tang Hao. Because she has always regarded Tang Hao as the murderer of her father. I never thought that the arrogant Tang Hao would end up exploding and dying, and that you would find his soul bone after his death. Since it fell from him, I have no reason to refuse. Qian Runshui knew that Xiao Han and the people around him were mostly ice and water attribute soul masters, and this fire attribute soul bone was of little use to them. Although she couldn't use it on herself, she gladly accepted it because she thought it might be useful in other places in the future. She guessed that Tang Hao might have more than one soul bone, and Xiao Han might have found other soul bones. However, she didn't care. After all, Xiao Han played a crucial role in killing Tang Hao, so it was only right for him to take the soul bone from Tang Hao. Afterwards, Xiao Han returned to the tent and merged the 100,000-year-old soul bone into his left leg. After fusing with that soul bone, Xiao Han's strength increased a lot. The soul power increased by 2 levels at once, reaching level 87. The 100,000-year-old left leg soul bone brought him 2 powerful skills, freezing weather and Titan Ice Burst Arrow. Frozen Earth is a field skill that combines the power of gravity and ice. Once it is used, the temperature will drop sharply within a range of hundreds of meters, and the gravity can be increased or weakened according to Xiao Han's control. For the enemy, this is an icy purgatory that is difficult to escape. The Titan Ice Explosion Arrow is a perfect combination of the Titan Giant Ape's power and the ice element, forming a huge ice arrow with unparalleled penetrating power. After hitting the target, it will also cause a violent freezing explosion with amazing power. This soul skill is more like a combination of high explosive penetration and ice explosion arrow. At dawn, the sunlight shines through the sparse treetops, falling on everyone, bringing a touch of warmth. Xiao Han and others packed their luggage and prepared to leave the Stardow forest. Before leaving, Qian Runshui gathered everyone together to discuss countermeasures. Tang San and Xiao Wu have already escaped. They will definitely bring back everything that happened here to Tiando City. We must be fully prepared. Guangling Douluo and Zhongmo Douluo looked at each other and smiled. Xiaoshui, don't worry. Zhongmo and I will escort you back to Tiando City. No matter how Shui reacts, we will ensure your safety. Yes, Xiaoshui, with the two of us here, if they dare to make a move, we will just blow them up. Guangling Douluo and the demon subduing Douluo were full of confidence. Xiao Han analyzed. Even if Shui Yi learned the news, he might not dare to act rashly. Those ordinary soldiers and spirit masters are vulnerable. The only ones who can pose a threat to us are Jian, Bone Douluo and Ning Fengji. Why don't we return to Tiando City openly? Once Shui Yi, Ning Fengji, Yu Shaogang and others make a move, we will quickly attack, calm everything down with thundering means, and directly take over the power of the empire. Guangling Douluo nodded in agreement. Xiao Han is right. Xiao Shui, you have prepared your plan for so long, it's time to realize it. Qian Runshui thought for a moment. Then do as Xiao Han said. I originally wanted to end it all as soon as possible. At least half of the people in the Tiando Palace are from our Wuhun Hall. If we really fight, we have a chance of winning. That's good. Your identity has been exposed. There is no point in staying in the Tiando Empire. Yes. It is necessary to inform Grandpa about such an important matter. If there is support, it will be more certain. Okay. Qian Runshui arranged two masters to rush to Wuhun City. Then, the group left the Xingdu Great Forest and headed towards Tiando City. It was late at night and there was silence in Shrek Academy. Lu Erlong was about to turn off the lights and go to bed. Suddenly, she frowned slightly and sensed a familiar and eager breath approaching quickly. Her heartbeat accelerated involuntarily, and a hint of incredible surprise flashed in her eyes. Xiaowu, is that you? Before she finished speaking, a pink figure appeared in front of her as quietly as the night wind. Mom! Xiaowu's voice was choked with sobs. She hugged Lu Erlong tightly, tears welling up in her eyes. Lu Erlong also hugged her back tightly, feeling the real warmth in his arms. The shock and joy in his heart were intertwined, almost making her unable to express it in words. Xiao Wu, it's really you. So great. The movement of the two startled Yu Shaogang, who was not far away. He rushed over in a few steps. Yu Shaogang was shocked to see that the person coming was Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu, you're back. Yu Shaogang looked up and down at Xiao Wu, feeling unbelievable. Xiao Wu let go of Lu Erlong and turned to Yu Shaogang, tears finally falling. Master, something happened. It's all my fault. Xiao Wu, what's wrong? Don't worry, tell me slowly. Xiao Wu choked with sobs and told Yu Shaogang and Lu Erlong everything that happened in the center of the Star Forest. As Xiao Wu narrated, Yu Shaogang and Lu Erlong's faces became more and more solemn. They couldn't imagine that such a thrilling battle had taken place in the center of the dangerous forest. Tang Hao had always been Yu Shaogang's idol, a god of war. Yu Shaogang couldn't believe that Tang Hao had died in that forest, without even a complete corpse. Spirit Hall, they are so rampant. Yu Shaogang gritted his teeth, his eyes flashing with anger. I killed Uncle Tang. He. Thinking of Tang Hao's death and the pain Tang San had experienced, Xiao Wu's words were interrupted by sadness, and tears flowed. Lu Erlong was also very sad. Yu Shaogang seemed more stable. He knew that now was not the time to be sad, there were more important things to do. Yu Shaogang patted Xiao Wu's shoulder gently and comforted her. Xiao Wu, don't be too sad. The death of Haoshan Douluo has nothing to do with you. Although this incident is heartbreaking, we can't let sadness overwhelm us. I didn't expect that Prince Shui Qinghe was actually disguised by the Spirit Hall. Before they come back, we must pass this news to Emperor Shui Yi and Sect Master Ning as soon as possible, so that they can all be prepared to fight against the conspiracy of the Spirit Hall. Xiao Wu nodded and continued. Master, in less than 2 years, how can a human spirit master improve his spirit power by 20 levels? You are talking about Xiao Han, right? Yu Shaogang shook his head and sighed. I don't know how he did it. His growth speed has exceeded my cognition. Xiao Han's strength made Yu Xiaogang afraid. However, knowing that Tang San's strength has also improved a lot, not only has his spirit evolved, but he has also fused a 100,000-year spirit bone. In addition to grief, Yu Xiaogang was also somewhat relieved. Chapter 157 Tiando is in danger. Seeing Xiaowu again, Flanders was also shocked. Yu Xiaogang told Flanders the whole story and asked him to rush to Qibao Luli sect overnight to invite Ning Fengji to Tiando City. At dawn, Flanders rushed back to Shrek Academy. Ning Fengji, Ning Rongrong and Jian Douluo Chenxin came with him. As soon as she saw Xiaowu, Ning Rongrong rushed forward and held her hand tightly, her eyes full of surprise. Xiaowu, you are really back. That's great. Xiaowu forced a smile, but she felt mixed emotions in her heart. Ning Fengji seemed more calm. He exchanged a few simple pleasantries with Yu Xiaogang, then slowly walked towards Xiaowu and said, Xiaowu, Dean Flanders has roughly told me the situation, but I still want to hear you say it again in person to make sure every detail is correct. Okay, I understand. Afterwards, Xiaowu repeated everything she had witnessed in the center of the Xingdu Great Forest in detail again. After listening, Ning Fengji's face became extremely serious. I never thought that Haoshan Douluo would fall like this. This is a huge blow to Haoshan sect and us. Although Tang Hao was expelled from the Haoshan sect, Ning Fengji knew that it was a last resort. In his heart, Tang Hao was always a member of Haoshan sect. Ning Rongrong said, Xiaowu, it turns out that you have been living with 200,000-year-old soul beasts in the core area of Xingdu Forest. However, Xiao Han and the people from the Spirit Hall seemed to have deliberately hunted those two soul beasts. How did they know you were there? Xiaowu shook her head. I am also confused about this question. That is the territory of Daming and Erming. There are many high-aged soul beasts outside the center. It is unlikely that human soul masters can reach there. Ning Fengji sighed. As Shui Qinghei's teacher, I didn't realize for so many years that he was a fake prince, and a woman in disguise. I really don't know how she did it. Yu Xiaogang took over the conversation. From her blonde hair and the attitude of those people in the Spirit Hall, she is indeed very likely to be a direct descendant of Qian Daoliu. The depth of the Spirit Hall's layout this time is far beyond our imagination. Yes. Perhaps the death of the former prince was also controlled by them. Senior Dugu reminded Xiao San when he was alive that Prince Shui Qinghei is not a simple person. I didn't expect that she is more terrifying than we imagined. Ning Fengji nodded with a solemn expression. This matter is related to the survival of the empire. Emperor Shui must be informed immediately so that he can be prepared. Master, let's go to the palace together. Okay, I have the same idea. Ning Fengji turned his head and looked at his daughter. Rongrong, you stay in the academy. Deans, this is an extraordinary period. Please take good care of my daughter for me. Lu Erlong and Flanders nodded slightly. Master Ning, don't worry, we will take good care of Rongrong. Afterwards, Ning Fengji and Yu Xiaogang hurriedly left, accompanied by Jian Douluo, and headed straight for the Tiando Palace. Emperor Shui hurriedly summoned them when he learned of their arrival. Your Majesty, we have important information to report. Ning Fengji said directly as soon as he entered the palace. Emperor Shui frowned, feeling that something big was going to happen. Master Ning, Master, it's okay to speak frankly. Yu Xiaogang and Ning Fengji looked at each other, then stepped forward and told Emperor Shui everything Xiaowu had said. After listening, Emperor Shui was slightly shocked, and a look of disbelief flashed in his eyes. Prince Shui Qinghei is actually a disguised person from the Spirit Hall. Emperor Shui never expected that the prince he had high hopes for was actually a woman in disguise. How is this possible? She has been in the palace for so many years without revealing any flaws. Can the words of that humanoid soul beast really be trusted? Yu Xiaogang stood up and said, Your Majesty, I am willing to guarantee with my life that what Xiaowu said is absolutely true. Ning Fengji also stood up. Your Majesty, I also believe in Xiaowu. She risked her life to come to Tiando City, not to tell a few lies. This matter concerns the survival of the empire, and I hope Your Majesty will be cautious. Emperor Shui Yi was silent for a moment. Thinking back to the abnormal behavior of Prince Shui Qinghe in the past 2 years, there are indeed some suspicious things. I never thought that Haoshan Douluo would fall like this. If this is true, do you two have any good countermeasures? Ning Fengji replied, Your Majesty, Master and I have discussed countermeasures before coming to the palace. First of all, to ensure the safety of the palace, it is recommended to immediately replace all the guards in the palace and only keep your most trusted confidants. At the same time, strengthen the defense of Tiando City and mobilize elite troops to enter the city to prevent accidents. In addition, we should not act rashly and need to wait patiently for Tang San's return. Tang San. Ning Fengji nodded and continued, Tang San and Haoshan Douluo will be in trouble soon. Tien Douluo was concerned about the safety of the empire, so after discovering the suspicious behavior of the fake prince, he resolutely followed them and discovered the conspiracy of the Spirit Hall. Although Haoshan Douluo was expelled from the sect, he was the pride of Haoshan sect after all, but now he was killed by the Spirit Hall. The current leader of Haoshan sect, Tang Xiao, is Haoshan Douluo's brother. I think Haoshan sect should not ignore Haoshan Douluo's death. This may also be the reason why Tang San was eager to return to Haoshan sect. If Haoshan sect can come out to help, our chances of winning against the Spirit Hall will be greatly increased. Emperor Shui Yi nodded. Okay, let's do as you say. I will immediately start to replace the guards and strengthen the city defense. However, this fake Prince Shui Qinghe. Ning Fengji's eyes flashed with wisdom, and he said, Your Majesty, this is the key to our plan. We must not only defend, but also take the initiative. If the fake Shui Qinghe really dares to return to Tiando City, it will be the best time for us to reveal his true face. After hearing this, Emperor Shui Yi's eyes flashed with a trace of determination. Okay, let's do it. Master Ning, Master, for the safety of the empire, you should also be prepared. Yes. Then, Ning Fengji and Yu Shaogang took their leave and each got busy, preparing to meet the coming storm. In Tiando City, a contest concerning the fate of the empire was quietly kicking off. At the same time, on the other side. After leaving the Xingdu Great Forest, Tang San kept in mind the place that Tang Hao had told him, and rushed to Haoshan sect without stopping. After traveling day and night, he finally arrived at the village at the foot of Haoshan sect. Tang Yuehua has been waiting here for a long time. Long before this, Tang Yuehua had rushed back and informed the clan members that Tang Hao and his son were preparing to return to the sect. After learning the news, everyone in the Haoshan sect was furious. After all, the Haoshan sect, once the #1 sect in the world, was hunted down by the Wuhun Palace due to Tang Hao's mistakes, and was so depressed that he could not leave the world. Chapter 158 Tang Xiao's determination. Tang San met Tang Yuehua at the entrance of the village at the foot of the mountain. At this moment, his body was covered with dust and exhaustion, and his eyes were filled with unspeakable sadness. Aunt. Seeing Tang San's appearance, Tang Yuehua's heart tightened, and an ominous premonition surged into her heart. Xiaosan, what happened? Where is your father? Why didn't he come back with you? Tang Yuehua asked repeatedly, with a bit of urgency and uneasiness in her tone. Auntie, my father. Dad, is no longer here. Tang San tried hard to calm down the turmoil in his heart, but the pain still made his voice tremble. These words were like a bolt from the blue, causing Tang Yuehua to sway and almost lose his balance. What? How is this possible? Your father. Tang Yuehua felt unbelievable, tears welling up in her eyes, but she resisted falling. Tang San clenched his fists tightly, nails digging into his palms, as if this could keep him awake. Auntie, we encountered an accident on the way back. Afterwards, Tang San slowly told about that painful experience. He told about his discovery of the strangeness of Prince Shui Qinghe and his encounter in the Stardo forest. Every detail was like a knife, carving scars on his heart. After Tang Yuehua listened, her tears finally burst and fell silently. Her heart was like a surging wave, shocked, angry, sad, and unacceptable. All kinds of emotions were intertwined, making her almost suffocated. Tang Hao, the Haoshan Douluo who was once high-spirited and arrogant among the heroes, unexpectedly fell like this. This is a huge and unacceptable blow to Haoshan sect and to her. Xiaosan, you have suffered. Tang Yuehua hugged Tang San tightly, trying to give him a bit of warmth and comfort. She knew that at this moment, Tang San needed this support more than anyone else. After a while, Tang Yuehua led Tang San towards the mountains where the Haoshan sect was located. Her heart was still heavy. She knew that what she would face next would be a more difficult situation. Tang Xiao, the current sect leader of Haoshan sect and Tang Hao's eldest brother, is standing in front of the sect's meeting hall, looking deeply into the distance. When Tang Yuehua and Tang San appeared in his sight, he was keenly aware of the unusual auras emanating from the two of them. Yuehua, you are back. Who is this? Brother, he is Brother Hao's son, Tang San. After Tang Yuehua finished speaking, he turned around and looked at Tang San. Tang San bowed to Tang Xiao with understanding. Tang San has met the sect master. No need to be polite. There are no outsiders here, just call me uncle. Although your father has done something sorry for the sect, you are innocent. You have the blood of our Tang family, so I will naturally recognize you. Why? Your proud father still refuses to go back to the sect and admit his mistake. There was a bit of majesty in Tang Xiao's tone, and there was also a hint of reproach to Tang Hao. Looking at the man in front of him who looked somewhat similar to his father Tang Hao, Tang San felt a little uncomfortable. Thinking of being misunderstood by his uncle after his father died, the pain in his heart suddenly surged out. No. Uncle, you misunderstood. My father will never return to the Haoshan sect. Before Tang San finished speaking, Tang Yuehua burst into tears. Tang Xiao was shocked. What's wrong with you? Mistress, tell me clearly, what exactly happened? Tang Yuehua glanced at Tang San and signaled that he would do the talking. Afterwards, Tang San recounted that painful experience again. Only this time, his voice was firmer, as if he was telling himself, as well as his uncle and aunt, that he would not let his father die in vain. After Tang Xiao heard this, his body was shaken, and a trace of disbelief flashed in his eyes, which was immediately replaced by raging anger. Martial Spirit Hall. How dare you bully our Haoshan sect like this? Kill my brother. I will not be a human being unless I avenge this. Tang Xiao's voice was low and powerful, and every word seemed to contain endless anger and determination. Mistress, you are tired too, go and rest first. Yuehua, summon the clan members to discuss matters. The 5 existing elders of Haoshan sect have all reached the level of titled Douluo. Moreover, there are more than 200 direct disciples of the sect. Therefore, in terms of overall strength, they are still the number 1 sect in the world. However, being forced by Wuhun Palace to hide in the world, he could only stay in the mountains and wait for the opportunity. In the meeting hall, Tang Xiao stood on the high platform and glanced at everyone present. Today, I want to tell you some news that I don't know whether it is good or bad. Tang Xiao's voice echoed in the hall, making everyone's heart tighten involuntarily. The former Haoshan Douluo, Tang Hao, who many of you regard as the sinner of the sect, has died in the battle with Wuhun Palace. After Tang Xiao finished speaking, the entire hall fell into a dead silence. Everyone's face was filled with shock and disbelief. After a while, a whisper sounded. Tang Hao, this name is widely used in Haoshan sect and even the entire Douluo continent has a pivotal position. He makes people in Haoshan sect both love and hate him. He was once the youngest titled Douluo on the Douluo continent. This record was not broken until later by Pope Bibi Dong. He once brought glory to the sect, but he also almost destroyed the sect and caused many clan members to die because of him. Until now, many tribesmen cannot forgive him. After hearing the news of Tang Hao's death, everyone felt mixed feelings, and the most important thing was regret. After all, although Tang Hao was expelled from the sect, he still regarded Wuhun Palace as their enemy just like them. Tang Xiao raised his hand to signal everyone to be quiet. I know that this news is sudden and difficult for everyone to accept, but we must face the reality. Originally, Tang Hao was planning to return to the sect to confess his crime, but some accidents happened on the way and he was killed by the Wuhun Palace. Several titled Douluo besieged him to death. Fortunately, Tang San escaped from their clutches. With that said, Tang Xiao pulled Tang San to his side and introduced to everyone. He is Tang San, Tang Hao's son. They made an important discovery on the way back to Haoshan sect. This discovery is not only related to the survival of the Tiando Empire, but also related to the future of our entire Haoshan sect. The Tiando Empire things may change. The Haoshan sect is hidden in the mountains and relies on Tang Yuehua from Tiando City for most of its funds and living supplies. The big hand of Wuhun Palace has reached into the Tiando Empire. The Tiando Empire will most likely perish because of this. If this is the case, Tang Yuehua will lose everything she has worked hard for in Tiando City for many years and will no longer be able to provide support to the Haoshan sect. Although the Haoshan sect had vaguely supported the Xinglo Empire before, for the sake of the sect's future, Tang Xiao would not just watch the Tiando Empire fall into the hands of the Spirit Hall. He knew that once Wuhun Palace captured the Tiando Empire, it would not be far away to capture the Star Luo Empire and even unify the entire Douluo continent. So, this time, he will go out to help the Tiando Empire. Chapter 159 Haoshan sect comes out. At Tang Xiao's signal, Tang San stood up. Tang San stood in the center of the hall, facing the elders and direct disciples of the Haoshan sect, and told everything that happened in the Stardo forest. Everyone was shocked after hearing this. If Prince Shui Qinghe is really someone from Wuhun Palace pretending to be one, then the royal family of the Tiando Empire may have fallen under the control of Wuhun Palace. This means that the Tiando Empire is on the verge of crisis. This crisis is not only related to the survival of the Tiando Empire, but also closely related to the future of the Haoshan sect. Wuhundian's ambition is obvious. Once it succeeds, the entire Douluo continent will be completely changed. Tang Xiao said. Although our Haoshan sect is hiding from the world, we must not watch Wuhun Palace's conspiracy succeed. Everyone nodded. Suddenly, different voices emerged from the crowd. Sect Master, are Tang San's words credible? The person who spoke was the seventh elder of Haoshan sect. His eldest son died in the battle with Wuhun Palace, so he harbored deep resentment towards Tang Hao. Even after learning that Tang Hao was dead, the resentment in his heart still did not diminish by half. Tang Xiao knew the resentment in the seventh elder's heart. I also know that many people dare to be angry but dare not speak out. Tang Xiao's eyes swept over everyone again, and he said firmly. I have secretly sent my disciples down the mountain to the Tiando Empire to verify everything Tang San said. But before that, I am willing to give Tang San my trust, because he is not only Tang Hao's son, but also the future of our Haoshan sect. After Tang Xiao finished speaking, he motioned for Tang San to step forward to show his strength and prove that what he said was true. Before gathering the clansmen, Tang Xiao told Tang San that Haoshan sect was a place where strength speaks for itself. If you want to be recognized by your tribe, you can only conquer them with strength. Tang San took a deep breath and slowly raised his right hand. Along with a gentle but vital fluctuation, a brilliant blue-silver emperor appeared in his palm. On the blue-silver grass, the original fresh green actually revealed a golden light, as if every leaf vein was finely inlaid with a fine golden edge. Those golden lines meander and flow like mysterious runes, exuding a noble and sacred aura. Everyone present, including the elders who had doubts at first, could not help but be attracted by this strange sight, with surprise in their eyes. They never expected that Tang San's martial spirit was actually the blue-silver emperor. Under everyone's surprised gazes, Tang San released his 5 soul rings of yellow, purple, and black. Seeing the 5 soul rings on Tang San's body light up one by one, especially the black one, the entire hall instantly fell into deathly silence. Everyone's eyes were wide open, as if they couldn't believe what they were seeing. At the age of 16, for most soul masters, being able to reach the realm of the third ring battle soul master is already a good talent. But Tang San is already a fighting spirit king with 5 spirit rings. How is this possible? The seventh elder murmured to himself, the resentment and doubt on his face replaced by shock. He knew very well that even in the entire Douluo continent, such a young fighting spirit king was rare, not to mention Tang San's strange blue-silver emperor spirit and the spirit ring configuration he displayed. The other elders and direct disciples also looked at each other with disbelief in their eyes. There are many experienced old men among them, but even they have never seen such a young five-ring war soul king. For a time, there was a lot of discussion in the hall. An expression of pride and satisfaction that was difficult to conceal also emerged on Tang Xiao's face. Xiao-san, go on. Tang San nodded. Amidst many shocked gazes, he slowly retracted his blue-silver emperor martial spirit and spirit ring. Then he stretched out his left hand, and a small black hammer appeared in his palm. Black ripples are rhythmically pulsating on the hammer head. It's the clear sky hammer. Seeing this scene, everyone was even more shocked. He actually has twin martial souls. The seventh elder, who had questioned Tang San before, couldn't help but exclaimed at this moment. Tang San stood there calmly. The manifestation of his twin martial spirits undoubtedly added some weight to his status in everyone's hearts. The clear sky hammer, as the symbol of the clear sky sect, appears in Tang San's hands, which is undoubtedly the most powerful response to those who have doubts. As you can see, Tang San inherited his father's clear sky hammer, and also possessed his mother's blue-silver emperor martial spirit. He is the second person on the Douluo continent to possess twin martial spirits, besides the current Pope Bibi Dong. Moreover, at the age of 16, he has already reached the level of Battle Soul King. Whether you admit it or not, the blood of the Tang family is always flowing in his body, and his future is limitless. Tang Xiao's voice was not loud, but every word was sonorous and powerful, echoing in the hall. The seventh elder had a complicated expression. He stared at the clear sky hammer in Tang San's hand, and a barely perceptible hesitation flashed in his eyes. After all, the clear sky hammer will not lie, it is the most direct proof of the clear sky sect's bloodline. The other elders and direct disciples also exchanged glances. The strength and potential displayed by Tang San forced them to re-examine this young man. Seeing this, Tang Xiao nodded secretly in his heart. He knew that at this moment, Tang San had won the respect of most of his clansmen with his strength. Tang Xiao's eyes were as sharp as torches as he scanned every tribesman present. Today, the Heaven Do Empire is facing an unprecedented crisis. The conspiracy of the Spirit Hall is like a dark cloud covering the sun, attempting to swallow up the light of the entire Douluo continent. Our Haoshan sect, as the top sect on the continent, must not sit idly by. I decided to go down the mountain myself and help the Tiando royal family with Xiao-san. Is there anyone else willing to go with me? As soon as these words were spoken, the hall fell into silence again. Master, I am willing to go with you. For the sake of Haoshan sect and the Tiando Empire, we must not let the Spirit Hall's ambitions succeed. The one who spoke was the fourth elder. Master, I am willing to go with you. The seventh elder also stood up. Although there were still some complicated emotions in his eyes, it was more of respect for Tang Xiao's decision and hatred towards the Spirit Hall. Master, I am willing to go down the mountain with you. More disciples of the sect stood up. Tang Xiao smiled and nodded. Okay. This time, I will lead 100 people down the mountain with the fourth elder and the seventh elder. The rest of you will stay in the mountain and wait for my news. A few days later, a team composed of elite disciples of Haoshan sect, led by Tang Xiao and two elders, left the sect that had been secluded for many years and embarked on a journey to the Tiando Empire. A few days later, Xiao Han and Qian Runshui arrived outside Tiando City. The afterglow of the setting sun shines on the ancient city walls, giving this historic city a layer of golden glow. However, beneath this tranquility lies tension and vigilance. Chapter 160, Tiando Palace Incident. At the city gate, the guards were dressed in iron armor and holding spears. They stood as straight as pine trees, their eyes revealing vigilance and determination. On the city walls, there are arrow towers and archers are on standby. Qian Runshui looked at the city that was on high alert from afar. It's just as we expected. It looks like they are already prepared. Well, let's go straight into the city and see what they are up to. Xiao Han and Qian Runshui had taken precautions. When they were almost reaching Tiando City, Qian Runshui dispersed to the left and right. Guangling Douluo, subduing demon Douluo, snake lance Douluo, thorny porpoise Douluo and a group of masters from the spirit hall have quietly entered the city. Only Qian Runshui and Xiao Han were left in the carriage, along with a spirit hall master pretending to be the coachman. With Xiao Han around, even a titled Douluo-level warrior cannot pose a threat to Qian Runshui. The coachman drove the carriage straight to the city gate. Stop. Routine inspection. How dare you? Open your eyes and take a good look. This is the Crown Prince's car. Your Majesty has ordered that all pedestrians and vehicles passing by must be checked. Even the Prince and the Crown Prince are no exception. Qian Runshui changed back into Shui Qinghei's outfit. Hearing the noise outside, Shui Qinghei got off the carriage. Seeing this, the guards immediately saluted him. Greetings to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. Shui Qinghei looked at the guards and said with a smile. Did something happen in Tiando City? Why did the security suddenly become so strict? Your Highness, we don't know much about it either. We are just following Your Majesty's orders. I see. It seems I have to hurry back to the palace. Shui Qinghei got on the carriage after saying this. The guards quickly made way and the carriage went straight into the city. As soon as the vehicle drove 100 meters away, the guard leader ordered. Hurry to the palace to report to His Majesty that His Royal Highness the Crown Prince has returned to the city. Yes. It turned out that these guards were all Emperor Shuiyi's confidants. After they received the order, they went to the palace to report as soon as Crown Prince Shui Qinghei returned to the city. Xiao Han and Shui Qinghei sat in the carriage and drove towards the palace. The carriage traveled through the streets of Tiando City, and the surrounding scene was very different from the past. On both sides of the street, most of the originally bustling shops had their doors closed, and the few that were open seemed empty. There are few people on the street, and they are all in a hurry. It seems that everyone has their own thoughts and does not want to stay longer. The patrolling guard team shuttled through the streets. They wore silver armor, held sharp swords, walked vigorously, and their eyes were as sharp as eagles, scanning the surroundings from time to time. The number of these guards is several times greater than usual. The entire Tiando city seemed to be shrouded in an invisible layer of tension. Xiao Han joked. It seems like they are waiting for you to throw yourself into a trap. Then we will use our tactics to catch them off guard. Okay, I will help you win the Tiando Empire today. The two looked at each other and smiled, and continued to march towards the palace without fear. The carriage stopped at the entrance of the palace. Xiao Han and Shui Qinghei got off the carriage and walked into the palace. The moment they stepped into the palace, both of them could clearly feel the chilling atmosphere in the air, as if every wisp of wind carried a sharp blade, cutting through the already tense nerves. In the palace, all the familiar faces of the guards have disappeared, replaced by new faces that are cold and vigilant. They stood like sculptures, with eyes like torches, monitoring every move of everyone who entered. It seems that Shuiyi has changed all the guards in the palace. Shui Qinghei whispered to Xiao Han. Although his tone remained calm, there was a trace of unnoticeable worry in his eyes. All my people have been transferred away. They are all people I have been working with in the Tiando Palace for many years. Every one of them has sworn loyalty to me. I'm here, don't worry. Xiao Han's words were like a tranquilizer, which slightly eased Qian Runshui's nervous mood. The two of them walked cautiously through the steps and arrived at the square of the palace. Directly in front of the square, Emperor Shuiyi sat on a high dragon chair, dressed in luxurious imperial robes, with a stern face and deep eyes, as if he had been waiting here for a long time. All around, there were densely packed royal guards, armed with weapons and ready in formation. Countless pairs of eyes stared closely at Xiao Han and Shui Qinghei. Shui Qinghei took a few steps forward without fear. My son, I came to see my father. I wonder why my father is making such a big show of things. Emperor Shuiyi's eyes stayed on Shui Qinghei for a moment, and then he slowly spoke, with unquestionable majesty in his voice. Qinghei, where have you been during this time? Shui Qinghei's heart trembled, but his expression remained calm. My son just went to the Star Forest. Why is my father so nervous? Or does he have some doubts about me? Emperor Shui Yi's eyes became sharper, as if he wanted to penetrate Shui Qinghei's disguise. I do have a lot of questions. Tiando City has been in a turmoil recently, and rumors are spreading everywhere, all claiming that you have colluded with Wuhun Palace and have evil intentions. What's your explanation for this? When Shui Qinghei heard this, a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and an imperceptible cold light flashed in his eyes. Father, do you believe these words? I am dedicated to serving the country, so how can I have anything to do with Wuhun Palace? This is just a malicious slander by some people. Really? Emperor Shui Yi obviously didn't believe Shui Qinghei's words. His eyes fell on Xiao Han, who was standing next to Shui Qinghei. In his impression, Xiao Han had never knelt down to worship him, and this time was no exception, which made him secretly unhappy. But now is an extraordinary period, not a time for competition. Emperor Shui Yi said with a fake smile. Xiao Han, the last time I saw you was at the Soul Master competition. I heard that you already have 100,000-year soul ring. I have never seen a red 100,000-year soul ring. Release you the soul ring, let me broaden my horizons. Xiao Han and Shui Qinghei looked at each other and instantly understood Emperor Shui Yi's intention. The value of a 100,000-year soul ring is self-evident. The 200,000-year soul beasts in the center of the Star Do forest were hunted. They must have gone not just for the 100,000-year soul bones, but more likely to obtain the soul rings. Titled Douluo level experts do not need soul rings. Xiao Han's 7th soul ring has already reached the 100,000-year level. With the speed at which his soul power is increasing, he is most likely to absorb one of the 100,000-year soul rings. If there are 200,000-year soul rings among the soul rings he released, then everything Xiao Wu said is the truth. Xiao Han nodded to Shui Qinghei beside him, then looked around and said with a smile. It seems that you have believed what Tang San and the spirit beast said. Where are those two turtles? Are they hiding again? How dare you be rude to His Majesty? A contra-level guard next to Emperor Shui scolded loudly. Who do you think you are? How dare you accuse me? Before Xiao Han finished speaking, cold murderous aura was released from his eyes, and an invisible pressure was exerted on the soul Douluo. Immediately afterwards, the man knelt on his knees, and a mouthful of blood spat out from his mouth. Chapter 161 Seraphim. When Xiao Han accompanied Qian Runshui to the square, he had already sensed the presence of a powerful titled Douluo-level person nearby. Obviously, Ning Fengji, who has a good relationship with the Tiando royal family, is nearby, and he must be accompanied by Sword Douluo or Bone Douluo. Xiao Han took action against the contra-level guards beside Emperor Shui, which meant that Qian Runshui is also going to have a showdown. A trace of determination flashed in Qian Runshui's eyes. This moment has finally arrived, and her years of hiding are about to come to fruition. Following Xiao Han's move, the guards who were ready to move quickly surrounded the two of them. The weapons in their hands shone coldly in the sun, and the atmosphere was tense for a moment. At this moment, several figures suddenly appeared behind Emperor Shui. It was Ning Fengji, Sword Do Luo Chenxin, Yu Shaogang, Flanders, Luerlong and others. Looking at the contra-level guard who was suppressed by Xiao Han, Emperor Shui was furious. He stared at Xiao Han and Shui Qinghei who were surrounded by guards, and asked, "What do you intend to do today? Are you really not my son Shui Qinghei?" Shui Qinghei smiled proudly. That's right. I am not the real Shui Qinghei, but Qian Runshui from the Wuhun Palace. For many years, I have been lurking in the Tiando Empire, just to one day replace you, the foolish king. Shui Qinghei's voice was cold and firm, resounding throughout the square. As soon as these words came out, the whole square was in an uproar. Emperor Shui Yi's figure swayed, his eyes full of shock and pain. What did you say? Where is my Qinghei? Where is my son? The real Shui Qinghei was killed by me many years ago. To tell you the truth, the former prince was also killed by me. After hearing this, Emperor Shui's face instantly turned pale. He trembled with his right hand and pointed at Qian Runshui. You dare to kill my son. Why do you, the spirit hall, do this? Shui Qinghei's eyes suddenly became sharp. Of course it's for Wuhun Palace's plan to unify. Under the control of nobles like you, the two empires have been in constant war, with countless casualties. Have you, those in power, ever cared about the lives of ordinary people? Only by unifying the whole, only in this way will war be completely eliminated and the world will be peaceful. No one can stop Wuhun Palace from unifying Douluo continent. As soon as Shui Qinghe finished speaking, he released his soul bone skill. Qian Runshui's figure changed the moment the soul bone skill was released. Shui Qinghe's original appearance faded away, and was replaced by a beautiful and cold face, with an arrogant look between his brows. Her eyes were as bright as cold stars, yet so deep that they seemed to be able to see into people's hearts. Her long hair flows automatically without wind, fluttering gently, shining with a metallic luster in the sun, like a goddess coming out of mythology, both holy and inviolable. 6 wings slowly unfolded behind her, each one shining with a faint golden light, exuding powerful and pure energy fluctuations. With the release of Qian Runshui's seraph martial spirit, the entire square seemed to be enveloped in a sacred and solemn aura. This sudden scene shocked everyone in the square. Emperor Shui Yi's pupils shrank suddenly, his eyes filled with disbelief. Qian Runshui's change was like a heavy hammer, hitting his heart hard, making him feel dazed for a moment. He looked at the once familiar woman in front of him, but now she had become so strange and powerful, and his heart was filled with turbulent waves. Ning Fengji and Sword Douluo Chenxin looked at each other, a hint of horror flashed in their eyes. Although they already knew that Shui Qinghe was a woman pretending to be a woman, they were still shocked when they saw her displaying such amazing martial arts and aura with their own eyes. Yu Shaogang, Flanders and Lu Erlong also looked at each other in confusion. As expected by Yu Shaogang, Qian Runshui is a direct descendant of Qian Douluo. A complicated look flashed in Yu Shaogang's eyes, and he couldn't help but worry about the future of the Tiando Empire. Although there were only 2 people here, Xiaohan and Qian Runshui, he knew that there must be more Wuhun Palace masters secretly watching everything in the square. Seraphim. Emperor Shui Yi murmured to himself, with a hint of trembling in his voice. You are really a direct descendant of Qian Douluo. Qian Runshui looked at Emperor Shui coldly and said, Yes, I am Qian Runshui, the granddaughter of Qian Douluo, the great priest of Wuhun Palace, and the daughter of the former Pope Qinzunji. Shui, ask yourself, does the Tiando Empire have the strength to compete with our Wuhun Palace? Don't say that it's the Tiando Empire. Even if the 2 empires of Tiando and Xingluo join forces, it won't be enough to shake the Spirit Hall. As Qian Runshui's words fell, the atmosphere in the entire square became extremely tense. The guards who were ready to move did not dare to act rashly under Qian Runshui's powerful momentum. Emperor Shui, Ning Fengji, Yu Shaogang and others all had solemn expressions. They all know in their hearts that the current strength of Wuhun Palace is enough to crush the entire Douluo continent. Shui Yi, I give you one last chance. Surrender voluntarily to avoid unnecessary casualties. I will remember that you were the king of a country and leave you a way to live. Otherwise, today will be the day when the Tiando Empire will be destroyed. Anyone who dares to resist will be killed without mercy. Qian Runshui's voice echoed in the square, carrying unquestionable majesty. Emperor Shi's face was ashen. The power of Wuhun Palace made him feel more desperate than ever before. Ning Fengji and Sword Douluo looked at each other. They knew that the powerful titled Douluo-level warriors in Wuhun Palace were spying on everything in the square from the dark. With just the strength of a few of them, there is no way they can compete with Wuhun Palace. But as the leader of the Qibao Glazed sect, he will not back down easily. Yu Shaogang suddenly stood up. Staring at Qian Runshui, he said, Qian Runshui, the current strength of the Spirit Hall is indeed shocking, but the issues on the Douluo continent cannot be resolved by force alone. The will of the people is the real power. Do you think that unification through force can bring for peace? Wrong, that will only lead to more hatred and resistance. Qian Runshui sneered. Yu Shaogang, your theory may be useful at certain times, but in the face of absolute strength, everything seems pale and powerless. The unification of Douluo continent is inevitable, and no one can stop it. After Qian Runshui finished speaking, the 6 wings behind her shone brightly, and 7 soul rings of yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, black and red surrounded her body. Almost at the same time, Xiaohan also released his Junbing bow and arrow martial soul and 8 soul rings of purple, purple, black, 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 red, and red. A powerful pressure instantly enveloped the entire square. Seeing this scene, everyone in the square was shocked again. Chapter 162 Yu Shaogang is heartbroken. Xiaohan's first soul ring reached the 1,000-year level, and his third soul ring reached the 10,000-year level. What is even more incredible is that he actually has 200,000-year soul rings, the 7th and 8th rings. Who could have expected that the young soul master in front of him would have such a heaven-defying soul ring configuration? Even if you look at the entire Douluo continent, it is unique. Emperor Shui Yi's eyes widened, and his heart was filled with unprecedented fear and powerlessness. Ning Fengji's expression was equally ugly. His eyes, which usually sparkled with wisdom, were now filled with solemnity. Jian Douluo's eyes were as sharp as an eagle, and he was alert to everything around him. Yu Shaogang, Flanders and Lu Erlong were all horrified. How is this possible? Yu Shaogang frowned. Only then did he realize that Xiaohan's soul ring had undergone another transformation, with the third soul ring transforming from the original purple to the current black. He found it hard to imagine how Xiaohan did it. The theory he had painstakingly studied for many years was completely inapplicable to Xiaohan, which made him feel frustrated. Seeing the 300,000-year soul rings glowing with red light in the square, the royal guards were trembling with fear and retreated one after another. Qian Runshui was suspended in the air, and a loud voice rang out in the sky. Tiando soldiers, you have nothing to fear. The spirit hall is much stronger than you think. Don't struggle for Shui Yi, the tyrant. Put down your weapons and choose to surrender to me. I, Qian Runshui, in the name of the young master of the spirit hall, I promise you that everyone who is loyal to me will have a future full of hope and light. Qian Runshui also doesn't want the lives of those innocent people. It would be best if we could take over the Tiando Empire without any major fighting. Her eyes swept over the guards. Those eyes seemed to contain the power to see into people's hearts, causing some guards to lower their heads and start thinking about their choices. Emperor Shui Yi, Ning Fengji and others looked even uglier when they saw this. Qian Runshui's psychological warfare strategy was so powerful that many guards who were originally loyal to Emperor Shui Yi began to waver. Seeing that the situation was not good, Emperor Shui Yi shouted loudly. Qian Runshui, even if we die in battle today, we will not surrender to the Spirit Hall. Well, you asked for this. Once we take down the Tiando Empire, anyone who stands in my way will be killed without mercy. As soon as Qian Runshui finished speaking, a large number of Soul Douluo and Soul Saint level guards surrounded Emperor Shui Yi and protected him. Ning Fengji, Jian Douluo, Yu Shaogang, Flanders, Lu Erlong and others released their own martial spirits. Just when the two sides were on the verge of a war, the sky suddenly darkened, dark clouds gathered, and a powerful soul power wave condensed in the air. Immediately afterwards, figures cut through the sky like the light of dawn and descended upon the battlefield. It turned out to be Guangling Douluo, Subduing Demon Douluo, Snake Spear Douluo, Thorny Porpoise Douluo, and a group of masters from the Spirit Hall. Long before returning to the palace, Qian Runshui asked Snake Spear Douluo to go into the city first to contact the soul masters hiding in Wuhun City. The appearance of several titled Douluo and thousands of soul masters instantly froze the atmosphere in the entire square. Faced with such a powerful lineup, Emperor Shui Yi's face looked even paler. Ning Fengji also felt unprecedented pressure. There was a cold light flashing in Guangling Douluo's eyes, and he said lightly, "Humph. The mere Heaven Do Empire dares to contend with the Spirit Hall. Today is the day of your destruction." As soon as Guangling Douluo finished speaking, there was a sudden explosion in the sky. The explosion was like thunder in the sky, and the entire square seemed to be shaken. Immediately afterwards, a ray of golden light broke through the dark clouds, like the first ray of sunshine at dawn, descending from the sky with unparalleled momentum. The person who came was Tang Xiao. He was wearing a golden battle robe and holding a huge clear sky hammer. His body was surrounded by majestic soul power fluctuations, like the god of war descending. HMPH, Spirit Hall, you are going too far. I haven't even settled the score with you for killing my people, and now you've killed my brother Tang Hao. Tang Xiao's voice was deep and powerful, echoing throughout the square. The voice was filled with anger, and it was obvious that he was extremely dissatisfied with the arrogant behavior of the Spirit Hall. Following Tang Xiao were two elders at the titled Douluo level. They also released their respective martial spirits and spirit rings and prepared for battle. The Snowy Night Emperor looked upon the arrival of Tang Xiao and the other two titled Douluo, a glimmer of hope flashed in his eyes. When Qian Runshui saw this, her expression changed slightly. She didn't expect the people from the Haoshan sect to arrive in Tiando City so quickly. I don't know how many people Tang Xiao brought. However, no matter how many people Tang Xiao brought, they could not shake her determination to take over the Tiando Empire. Tang Xiao, do you think the three of you can change the situation of the war? It's just a few more people who are dying. Do it. Following Qian Runshui's order, the people from Wuhun Palace quickly dispatched. Demon-conquering Douluo held the coiling dragon staff and directly faced Tang Xiao in the air. Snake Spear Douluo and Array Douluo faced the two elders of Haoshan sect respectively. Guangling Douluo spread out the wings behind his back and rushed straight towards Sword Douluo. Yu Shaogang, Flanders and Lu Erlong had already released their respective martial spirits. In the blink of an eye, they completed the martial soul fusion technique, and a golden holy dragon rose into the sky. Seeing this situation, Xiao Han grinned. It's just a fake dragon. It's really overestimating its capabilities. With the shining of the soul bone of his right leg, an arrow from the string pierced the sky and directly locked onto the golden holy dragon. The ice arrow containing Xiao Han's majestic soul power and spiritual power, with an irresistible force, accurately hit the golden holy dragon rising into the sky. The moment the ice arrow penetrated the dragon's scales, cold air overflowed, and the entire space seemed to be solidified by this extreme coldness. The golden holy dragon let out a deafening scream, and its huge body trembled violently in the air. This arrow not only penetrated its body, but also destroyed the stable structure of the martial soul fusion technique. The flying ability provided by Flanders instantly went out of control, and the golden holy dragon began to stagger and roll in the air. Lu Erlong, as the provider of the dragon body, was directly shot through and suffered the most severe trauma. After losing the support of Lu Erlong, the golden holy dragon could no longer maintain its form, and eventually disintegrated into three soul powers and returned to the bodies of Yu Shaogang, Flanders and Lu Erlong. All three of them vomited blood. Lu Erlong was the most seriously injured and was dying. Two dragons. Yu Shaogang's eyes were about to burst and he was heartbroken. A trace of reluctance flashed in Lu Erlong's eyes. She endured the severe pain and used her last strength to smile at Yu Shaogang. Xiao Gang. Hurry up. Although this warning was gentle, it was like a thunder that shook Yu Shaogang's mind to pieces. Two dragons. Yu Shaogang watched Lu Erlong leave him, but was powerless. This feeling of powerlessness made him almost suffocate. Chapter 163 Shooting Emperor Shui. Under Xiao Han's ruthless attack, Yu Shaogang's world seemed to collapse. Lu Erlong's death filled his heart with endless grief and despair. Just when he was immersed in the pain of losing his beloved and unable to extricate himself, an ice arrow containing the aura of death whizzed towards him. Xiao Gang, let's go. Flanders saw this and shouted loudly. He knew that without the martial soul fusion skills of the three of them, in a battle of this level, Yu Shaogang, whose soul power was less than level 30, would have a very slim chance of survival. Although he was also seriously injured, Flanders still stepped forward resolutely and tried to fight for a chance of life for Yu Shaogang. However, his efforts seemed to be in vain. The ice arrow directly penetrated Flanders' defense and continued to approach Yu Shaogang. At this moment of life and death, a blue light and shadow appeared in front of Yu Shaogang's eyes at an incredible speed like lightning piercing the night sky. The person coming was none other than Tang San. The moment the ice arrow was about to hit Yu Shaogang, Tang San took action. His movements were as fast as lightning, making it almost impossible to see the trajectory. He instantly snatched Yu Shaogang from the hands of death and took him away from this dangerous battlefield. Teacher, let's go. There was a hint of anxiety in Tang San's voice. Seeing Tang San, Yu Shaogang was shocked. Shaosan, why are you here? Teacher, I'll explain it later. I'll take you out of here first. If you don't leave, it will be too late. Tang San activated the flight ability of his 100,000-year right leg soul bone and quickly evacuated with Yu Shaogang. Yu Shaogang looked back for the last time. Behind him, Flanders had fallen into a pool of blood. No! Flanders! Yu Shaogang shouted out in despair. He had just experienced Luerlong's death, and now even Flanders had left him. In the blink of an eye, he was the only one left in the golden iron triangle. Yu Shaogang's shouts echoed over the battlefield, but he never received any response. The despair surging in his heart drowned him like a tide. Why? Why did it become like this? Flanders. Erlong. I am useless. Yu Shaogang's voice trembled, tears blurred his vision, and the self-blame and regret in his heart cut his heart like a sharp knife. He remembered the promise he had made to his two close friends, that they would enter the Soul Master world together and face all difficulties and challenges together. But now, he could only watch them leave him, helpless. Tang San could feel the coldness of the teacher's palms and the trembling of his body, and felt a sense of sadness in his heart. He knew that no words could comfort the teacher's broken heart at this moment. Only by leaving here, away from this battlefield full of death and despair, can the teacher slowly come out of this shadow. Teacher, we have to go. Although Tang San's voice was firm, it could not hide the anxiety in it. He knew that Yu Shaogang was in extreme grief at this moment, but the situation did not allow them to stop. There are too many strong men in Wuhun Palace, and they are coming fiercely. The Tiando Empire may really be destroyed. Knowing that the visitor was Tang San, Xiao Han's lips curved into a smile. Such a large-scale battle was not something a soul master of Tang San's level could participate in. Xiao Han knew that with Tang San's character, he must have been hiding in the dark for a long time. Seeing that Wuhun Palace was too powerful, he was too timid to take action. Qian Runshui also saw Tang San and mocked. Tang San's shrunken turtle can run pretty fast. That guy won't make a difference, so leave him alone. If you want to capture the thief, capture the king first. Seeing that Tang San and Yu Shaogang had fled far away, Xiao Han drew the bowstring to full capacity again. His gaze was as sharp as an eagle, locked on Emperor Shui, who was protected by layers of guards. With the shining of the 100,000-year-old soul bone of his right leg, an azure arrow of silence came out from the string, with a sound of breaking through the air, and shot towards Emperor Shui Yi. That cold arrow was not only entwined with powerful soul power fluctuations, but also blew thunder and lightning rhythms. The contra-level guards surrounding Emperor Shui reacted quickly and released their own defenses in an attempt to block this fatal blow. The azure annihilation arrow drew a bright trajectory in the air and crashed into the seemingly airtight group defense. Boom! The arrows collided with the soul power of the guards, causing a deafening sound. A contra-level guard was blown away by the terrifying power carried by the arrow. He vomited blood and flew backwards. When Emperor Shui saw this, he was so frightened that he peed his pants. Sword Douluo was dealing with Light Ling Douluo's attack and was distracted by protecting Ning Fengji, unable to escape at all. Tang Xiao was also engaged in a fierce battle with demon-conquering Douluo and had no time to pay attention to him. Xiao Han's attack did not stop. The moment the bowstring was loosened, a azure-locked divine arrow was shot out. The azure-locked divine arrow that contained the aura of death, and had a spiritual locking effect, hit Emperor Shuiyi's chest accurately. A trace of surprise and unwillingness flashed in Emperor Shui's eyes. But, it was too late. The arrow penetrated his armor and penetrated deep into his body, taking away his last vestige of life. Plop! Emperor Shuiyi's body fell weakly, and the light in his eyes gradually dimmed until it went out. A generation of emperors fell under Xiao Han's arrow. Xiao Han held a longbow and scanned the battlefield with cold eyes. Some people had realized that Emperor Shui was dead and stopped what they were doing. Some people are still fighting. The dolphin Douluo was in a fierce battle with the 7 elders of the Clear Sky sect. His main method was toxin attacks, but under the powerful attack of the Clear Sky hammer, he seemed a little powerless. Martial Soul Hall, give back my son's life. The 7th elder swung the Clear Sky hammer in his hand and smashed it at the Array Douluo like crazy. Seeing that the Array Douluo was defeated, Xiaohan rose into the sky and shot a cold arrow towards the 7th elder. The arrow pierced the sky, with a whistling sound, and hit the 7th elder's Clear Sky hammer hard. Boom! The moment the two collided, the space seemed to be torn apart. The 7th elder was shocked. He felt a huge force coming from the arrow, which made his hands numb, and the Clear Sky hammer almost came out of his hand. He staggered and took several steps back in the air, his eyes filled with disbelief. How is it possible? That boy's attack is so powerful. The 7th elder murmured to himself. Although his strength is not at the top of the Haoshan sect, he is by no means an average person. But the power of the arrow just now made him feel an unprecedented threat. Xiaohan stared at the 7th elder coldly. The 7th and 8th soul rings on his body shone at the same time. The long bow in his hand was fully drawn again, ready to give him a fatal blow. Looking at the 200,000-year soul rings blooming with red light, the 7th elder was shocked again. If Tang San, who possesses twin martial souls, is a genius, then the young soul master in front of him is the genius among geniuses. Chapter 164 Capture Tiando. Although he knew that Xiaohan was very powerful, how could the always arrogant 7th elder give in front of this young soul master? He released the true form of the Clear Sky hammer and came straight towards Xiaohan. Xiaohan was not afraid at all, and also released the true form of the weapon soul. The bowstring in his hand was fully drawn again, and the Titan Ice Explosion arrow came out of the bowstring. The Ice Blast arrow that condensed the power of the Titans not only had extremely strong penetrating power, but also had a strong explosive effect, and also had the freezing effect of ultimate ice. The moment the Titan's Ice Blast arrow collided with the Clear Sky hammer, the entire battlefield was shaken and a bright light erupted. What followed was a deafening roar, like mountains collapsing, and like thunder. The icy cold air spread instantly with the arrow as the center, forming a sheet of ice mist that enveloped the surrounding space. The 7th elder felt an unprecedented chill and impact at the same time. His Clear Sky hammer seemed to be suppressed by a huge force at this moment, and his movements became sluggish. The explosion effect on the Ice Blast arrow was triggered, and the huge energy impact was like a whirlpool in the wind, sucking the Clear Sky hammer and the 7th elder's entire body into it. In the ice mist, the figure of the 7th elder was vaguely visible, covered by a thick layer of ice. From the limbs to the torso, together with the Clear Sky hammer, it was condensed into a huge ice sculpture. The expression on his face was fixed in shock and unwillingness. The ice sculpture seemed not to be affected by gravity and was still suspended in midair. Xiaohan launched another attack. With a crisp snap of the fingers, the cold arrows were like the light of dawn, cutting through the ice fog and heading straight for the 7 elders who were frozen in ice. With an irresistible force of destruction, it hit the ice sculpture hard. Boom! There was another loud noise, and the ice sculpture was torn apart in the violent explosion, and the fragments scattered like sharp blades. The figure of the 7th elder also completely disappeared in this series of explosions, turning into ice shards and blood mist all over the sky. The air was filled with a pungent smell of blood. Everyone on the battlefield was deeply shocked by this sudden scene. Whether it was the soul masters of the Tiando Empire or the powerful men of the Wuhun Palace, they involuntarily stopped the fighting in their hands and focused their gazes on the ice mist. 7th Elder. Tang Xiao shouted in despair, but never got any response. He, the 2 elders and Tang San rushed to Tiando City. They originally wanted to help the Tiando royal family and fight against the Spirit Hall. Unexpectedly, the 7th elder would die in Xiaohan's hands. The anger in Tang Xiao's heart burned fiercely, and his fighting spirit became even more intense. When he was about to leave, Ning Fengji's voice suddenly came from behind. Sect Master Tang, retreat quickly. Ning Fengji knew that the death of Emperor Shui had completely changed the situation of this war, and there was no point in continuing the battle. What's more, Wuhun Palace's overall strength is stronger, which will only cause more casualties to them. Seeing that Sword Douluo and Ning Fengji were preparing to leave the battlefield, Tang Xiao no longer persisted. Fortunately, the hundreds of elite disciples from the Haoshan sect have not arrived at Tiando City yet, otherwise the losses would have been even more disastrous. Fourth Elder, you go and meet the clan members first. Tang Xiao said, raising the 100-meter-long clear sky hammer and slamming it against the palace behind the square, trying to destroy the most magnificent building in the palace to attract the attention of the masters of Wuhun Palace. Qian Runshui saw this and shouted loudly. Stop him quickly. Victory is about to be won. Tiando Palace will be taken over soon. Qian Runshui certainly cannot watch the palace being destroyed by Tang Xiao. Demon conquering Douluo, Guangling Douluo and Xiao Han flew towards Tang Xiao together. There was Tang Hao in the past, and now there is Tang Xiao, who is doing some sneaky things. What a double Douluo, it is simply a waste of fame, and you are not afraid of being ridiculed by the world. Demon conquering Douluo and Light Ling Douluo faced the huge clear sky hammer at the same time. Xiao Han shot a azure lock divine arrow in the direction of Tang Xiao. Boom tilde. The destructive force was resisted abruptly. Demon conquering Douluo and Light Ling Douluo firmly caught the power of the clear sky hammer. Along with a deafening roar, the entire Tiando city seemed to be shaking under the collision of this force. Xiao Han's azure lock divine arrow frightened Tang Xiao, and he had to quickly pull away. When the golden light gradually dissipated, Tang Xiao disappeared. Ning Fengji and Sword Douluo also disappeared. Miss, do you want to chase them? No need, don't chase after poor bandits, or you may fall into a trap. Qian Runshui knew that with the strength of those few people, they could escape from Tiando City in an instant. Moreover, Tang San had long since fled the battlefield with Yu Shaogang, and the important personnel of Shrek Academy might have also fled with him. There is no point in catching up at this time. What's more, the mess in Tiando Palace is still waiting for her to clean up. The days are long and there are plenty of opportunities to eliminate those people. Qian Runshui was suspended in midair and shouted loudly to the guards in the square. Soldiers of Tiando, Shui Yi is dead. Stop struggling in vain and put down the weapons in your hands. The entire square fell into dead silence for an instant. The guards looked at each other. The death of Emperor Shui was like a mountain collapsing, making them lose their will to continue fighting. Put down your weapons and spare your life. This sentence is like an ultimatum. One of the guards slowly put down the weapon in his hand. Immediately afterwards, the second, third. More and more guards chose to put down their weapons and kneel to the ground. Throughout the square, the sound of weapons falling to the ground could be heard one after another. When Qian Runshui saw this, a smile appeared on her lips. She glanced at the surrendered guards and said, very good, you have made a wise choice. From now on, the Tiando Empire will be taken over by the Wuhun Palace, and you will become a member of the Wuhun Empire. The guards lowered their heads, not daring to look directly into Qian Runshui's eyes. The overall situation has been decided, and they can only silently accept the reality of the collapse of the Tiando Empire. Qian Runshui and Xiao Han looked at each other and smiled. In today's battle, not only did he successfully kill Emperor Shui, but he also killed a titled Douluo from the Haoshan sect, which severely weakened the enemy's spirit. On the Wuhun Palace side, there were almost no casualties. The plan went more smoothly than Qian Runshui imagined. Xiao Han, you deserve a lot of credit for being able to win the Tiando Empire so smoothly. This is the joint credit of everyone. It's a pity that a few of them ran away. They should have fled Tiando City, and may have gone to the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect. Ning Fengji dared to openly oppose Wuhun Palace. Once the situation stabilizes, I will personally lead people to defeat the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect. Qian Runshui's words revealed unquestionable determination. She stared into the distance, as if she had foreseen the destruction of the Qibao Glazed sect. I'll go with you then, and let's take care of the funeral first. Good. Qian Runshui turned around and walked towards the strong men from Wuhun Palace behind her, signaling them to start taking over defense of the palace. Chapter 165 Tang San, Why Is It You Again? Feeling that something big was going to happen in Tiando City, Ning Fengji sent Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu to the Seven Treasures Glazed sect in advance. Ning Rongrong was regarded as the future of the Seven Treasures Glazed sect, and Ning Fengji didn't want her to get into trouble. With the protection of Bone Douluo, he and Sword Douluo could stay in Tiando City to fight against the Spirit Hall with peace of mind. After being rescued by Tang San, Yu Xiaogang did not go to Shrek Academy, but went directly to the Seven Treasures Glazed sect. Seeing the dejected Yu Xiaogang and Tang San, Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu felt bad. Yu Xiaogang's eyes were red, and there were tears on his cheeks that had not yet dried, as if he had experienced some unforgettable grief. Master, third brother, what's wrong with you? What happened? Where are the others? Tang San glanced at Yu Xiaogang beside him. Yu Xiaogang had not recovered from the tragic death of Lu Erlong and Flanders, and his eyes were full of sorrow. If Lu Erlong and Flanders were mentioned again at this time, it would undoubtedly be like rubbing salt into his wounds. Teacher, you are tired too, why don't you go and rest for a while? Yu Xiaogang nodded weakly. Then, with the help of a disciple of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect, he went to the room to rest. After Yu Xiaogang left, Xiao Wu asked anxiously. Brother, what happened? Why is the master so sad? Could it be Erlong's mother? Xiao Wu had a bad premonition, but did not dare to ask further. Tang San took a deep breath and said. A great battle broke out in the Tiando Palace. The fake Prince Shui Qinghe is actually Qian Runshui, the daughter of the former Pope Qian Zunji of the Spirit Hall. She has been lurking in the Tiando Empire and planning this coup. The Spirit Hall has dispatched several titled Douluo-level powerhouses and a large number of masters. We obviously underestimated their determination. We didn't expect it. Tang San choked and continued. Teacher Lu Erlong and Dean Flanders were shot by Xiao Han in the battle and unfortunately died. We can't even take their bodies away. Hearing this, Xiao Wu's tears burst out instantly and her body trembled uncontrollably. She seemed to have expected this a long time ago. Lu Erlong's care for her was like motherly love. Those warm memories surged into her heart like a tide, making her heartbroken. Damn Xiao Han. It's you again. Xiao Wu gritted her teeth, angry and desperate. Ning Rongrong's eyes were also shining with tears. Although her relationship with Lu Erlong was not as strong as Xiao Wu's, the teacher-student relationship was equally deep, and her heart was filled with unspeakable sadness at the moment. Ning Rongrong suddenly thought of Ning Fengji and Jian Douluo. Third brother, what about my father and grandpa Jian? Rongrong, don't worry. Senior Jian Douluo is very powerful, and my uncle Tang Xiao and the two titled Douluo elders of Haoshan sect are also here. They will definitely protect your father. I took advantage of them to hold the enemy back and rescued the master. Just as everyone was immersed in sadness and worry, suddenly, a sound of breaking through the air came. Two figures streaked across the sky like meteors and landed steadily in front of everyone. It was Ning Fengji and Jian Douluo Chenxin. Dad. Grandpa Jian. Ning Rongrong exclaimed, and then tears fell again. This time it was because of the joy of reunion. She quickly stepped forward and hugged Ning Fengji tightly, wanting to confirm whether he was really safe and sound. Ning Fengji comforted. Rongrong, it's okay. Thanks to the assistance of Sect Master Tang Xiao and Haoshan sect, we were able to withdraw in time. However, the current situation is still serious. Ning Fengji looked a little tired, but his eyes flashed with determination. Where is the master? Dad, don't worry. The master is a little tired and will go to rest first. Ning Fengji nodded with relief. He also knew that the loss of Lu Erlong and Flanders was a huge blow to Yu Xiaogang. Tang San looked into the distance, as if he had a bad premonition, and asked. Sect Master Ning, where are my uncle and the others? They should be okay, right? Ning Fengji and Jian Douluo looked at each other and said. Xiao San, I have some unfortunate news to tell you. The seventh elder of your Haoshan sect also died in Xiao Han's hands. What? Sect Master Ning's words fell on Tang San like a bolt from the blue. Tang San's body shook violently, and a suffocating pain came from his heart. His eyes turned red in an instant, and he felt angry. Although the seventh elder had opinions about him and his father, he resolutely followed Tang Xiao down the mountain to fight against the Spirit Hall when he learned that the Heaven Do Empire was in trouble. After all, he was a titled Douluo. The death of the seventh elder was a big blow to the Haoshan sect. It's that damn Xiao Han again. Tang San roared, clenched his fists, and his nails dug deep into his palms, but he seemed to feel no pain at all. There was only endless anger and deep hatred for Xiao Han in his heart. Xiao Han. Why? Why you again? How many people I cherish will you destroy before you stop? Tang San's voice was hoarse and low, and every word seemed to be squeezed out from between his teeth, carrying the weight of blood and tears. Ning Fengji and Sword Douluo Chenxin sighed involuntarily when they saw this. They understood Tang San's pain. But at this moment, they could do nothing but comfort. Xiao San, I'm sorry. Don't let hatred blind your eyes. It should be your motivation to become stronger, not a shackle that drags you into the abyss. Tang San slowly raised his head, determination flashed in his eyes. He silently swore in his heart that for the sake of his father, Teacher Erlong, Dean Flender, Oscar, the seventh elder, and those who died because of Xiao Han, he would make Xiao Han pay with his blood. Wuhun Palace will eventually pay the price for everything they have done. At this moment, there was a sudden rush of footsteps at the gate of the sect. Ning Fengji immediately became alert and stepped out together with Sword Douluo. Tang San, Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu followed closely behind. Don't panic, we are one of our own. Ning Fengji said, striding forward to greet him. The visitors were none other than Tang Xiao, the fourth elder of the Haoshan sect, and the 100 elite disciples. Uncle. Tang San also rushed forward to greet him. Uncle, I'm sorry. It's my fault. It was me who harmed the seventh elder. If I had not returned to the sect, you would not have come down the mountain. Tang Xiao held Tang San's shoulders and comforted him. Silly boy, what are you talking about? The death of the seventh elder has nothing to do with you. Even if you don't go to the Haoshan sect, the Spirit Hall will still seize the Tiando Empire as planned. We will still come out at that time, otherwise we will starve to death. It's in the mountains. Ning Fengji said. Sect Master Tang, I didn't expect you to bring so many disciples down the mountain this time. Fortunately, they did not enter Tiando City, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. Yes. We underestimated the ambition of Wuhun Palace. They actually dispatched several titled Douluo-level experts and thousands of masters. If these disciples also enter the city, it may be difficult to escape intact. Ning Fengji nodded slightly. Sect Master Tang, this is not the place to talk. Please come in with me. Okay, please. After those people from the Haoshan sect entered the Qibao Glazed sect, the sect's door was closed tightly. Ning Feng's fatal people stepped up their vigilance to prevent a sneak attack from Wuhun Palace. Chapter 166 Asking for help from Xing Luo. In the meeting hall of Qibao Glazed sect. Ning Fengji, Sword Douluo, Bone Douluo, Tang Xiao, Fourth Elder, Yu Shaogang and Tang San discussed countermeasures together. After taking a short rest, Yu Shaogang recovered from the deaths of Lu Erlong and Flender. He knew that their crisis had not been resolved yet. Now was not the time to feel sad. They had to cheer up. Ning Fengji said. Everyone, although we already had countermeasures, we still underestimated the determination of Wuhundian and Qian Runshui. We didn't expect that they would attack directly after returning to Tiando City, and they would ambush many masters in Tiando City. Now, Emperor Shui has already death. The Tiando Empire no longer exists, but our crisis has not been resolved. What are your countermeasures? Yu Shaogang said in a deep voice. As Qian Runshui said, Wuhun Palace's ambition is to unify the entire Douluo continent. After taking over the Tiando Empire, their plan will definitely accelerate. Sooner or later, it will affect all the major forces in the empire. There will be great success. Those who go against me will prosper, and those who go against me will perish. The situation is critical now. We can no longer fight alone and must unite as one. The three major forces, the Haoshan sect, the Qibao Glazed sect, and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, should form a solid alliance to jointly resist the Spirit Hall. Only in this way can we stand firm in this storm and look for opportunities to fight back. Ning Fengji nodded and agreed with Yu Shaoging's words. Yu Shaoging then analyzed. The Seven Treasures Glazed sect is not far from Tiando City. Once Qian Runshui stabilizes the situation in Tiando City, he will definitely turn the spear and deal with us with all his strength, intending to eradicate the roots and eliminate future troubles. Therefore, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect is no longer a place to stay for a long time. We must plan ahead and evacuate as soon as possible to find a safer base. Sword Douluo nodded slightly and frowned. Bone Douluo also nodded in agreement. As the sect protector Optimus Prime, they have the responsibility to protect the safety of the Seven Treasures Glazed sect. However, the current situation is extremely unfavorable. The Tiando Empire is about to be controlled by Wuhun Palace, and the geographical location of the Seven Treasures Glazed sect does not allow them to stay for a long time. Tang Xiao said. I also support this decision. The evacuation is only temporary. One day, we will return stronger and take back everything that belongs to us. Ning Fengji sighed. The foundation of the Qibao Glazed sect is here. If it suddenly evacuates, he will of course be reluctant to leave. But he also knew that he had to do this. Because once the people from Wuhun Palace besiege him, his sect will suffer a devastating blow. Master is right. However, there are thousands of people in my sect. It is not easy to find a safe place. Yu Shaoging took the words. Sect Master Ning, this is also an issue I am considering. Yu Shaoging knew that although the Haoshan sect had natural geographical advantages, it could not accommodate as many people as the Qibao Glazed sect. Moreover, supplies are also a big problem. Although the Qibao Glazed sect is rich, living in the deep mountains and forests, there are some problems that cannot be solved by money. What's more, Tang Xiao finally made the decision to leave the mountain, and it was unlikely that he would go back in disgrace. There is another place in Yu Shaoging's heart, which is True Dragon Mountain where the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family is located. True Dragon Mountain is a place that is easy to defend but difficult to attack. It is surrounded by 8 peaks that are interlocking with each other, making the sect of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family very safe. That place is quite big. Even if the members of Haoshan sect and Qibao Glazed sect go there, it can still accommodate them. However, it also has geographical disadvantages. Because it is built on a mountain, if it encounters a large-scale attack, it can only hold on with all its strength and there is no way out. If Wuhun Palace launches a siege at all costs, there will be possibly eradicate them completely. Yu Shaoging had already left the sect, and Lu Erlong's death made him even more embarrassed to face the sect. So, I quickly gave up this idea. Tang San suddenly said. Sect Master Ning, uncle, teacher, I have thought about it carefully. Now we only have one place to go, and that is the Star Luo Empire. Star Luo Empire. Several people looked at each other. Tang Xiao nodded, that was exactly what he meant. The two empires, Tiando and Xingluo, have been enemies all year round, with constant conflicts, and wars break out every once in a while. Before the Tiando Palace incident, the Qibao Glazed sect had always firmly supported the Tiando royal family and regarded the Xingluo Empire as its enemy. The Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family does not want to get involved in the war and remains neutral. When the previous sect leader of the Haoshan sect was in power, he vaguely supported the Star Luo Empire. Only after the sect retired did it cut off its ties with the Star Luo Empire. Now forced by the situation, they had to reconsider their position. Tang San then analyzed. Sect Master Ning, I know that you have a close relationship with Emperor Shui Yi, but the empire has been destroyed, and Wuhun Palace cannot tolerate any forces that oppose it. Their ultimate plan is to unify the entire Douluo continent, and sooner or later they will take action against the Star Luo Empire. Davis, the eldest prince of the Star Luo Empire, was killed by Xiao Han. They will definitely become enemies of Wuhun Palace. Today's Prince Xingluo is our good friend Dai Mubai, and he will definitely accept us. In that case, we can form a powerful alliance and fight against Wuhun Palace to the end. Yu Shaoging nodded, agreeing with Tang San's proposal. Xiao San is right. Emperor Xingluo is known for his iron-bloodedness. After knowing Wuhun Palace's plan, he will definitely make preparations in advance. He should not refuse us, because our joining will only benefit them and not harm them. Tang San continued. Sect Master Ning, if you decide to move the sect, my teacher and I can go to the Star Luo Empire first and arrange everything in advance. Ning Fengji looked at Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo beside him. Both of them nodded towards him in agreement. Ning Fengji took a deep breath and made up his mind. Okay, then let's go to the Star Luo Empire according to what Master Shaosan said. Although this is very different from our previous position, for the sake of the sect and to fight against the ambition of Wuhun Palace, we must make changes. We will arrange the relocation within the sect as soon as possible to ensure that every disciple can evacuate safely. Yu Shaogang added. While preparing to move, we must also start collecting intelligence to understand the movements of Wuhun Palace to prevent them from sneak attacks. What the master said is true. Tang Xiao said. Sect Master Ning, I will take my clan members to help you migrate. Great. With the help of you Haoshan sect disciples, we will be safer. Subsequently, several people planned the specific details of the migration in detail. Yu Shaogang and Tang San set off overnight and rushed to the Star Luo Empire to find Dai Mubai. Before leaving, Yu Shaogang wrote a letter to be delivered to Junlong Mountain, informing him of Lu Erlong's death and preparing his family to deal with Wuhun Palace. Tang Xiao also sent someone to bring a letter back to the Haoshan sect, informing the tribe that they were ready to move to the Star Luo Empire. On the other side, the Papal Palace. Looking at the news coming from Tiando City, the expression on Bibi Dong's face gradually became distorted. Chapter 167 Qian Runshui proclaims himself emperor. Bibi Dong was furious when she learned that Qian Runshui had taken down the Tiando Empire without any effort. In the Papal Palace, the air was so solemn that it was almost suffocating. Bibi Dong's gaze was like a sharp blade, piercing through the secret message in her hand, as if she wanted to cut Qian Runshui in thousands of pieces in Tiando City. How good you are, Qian Runshui, how easily you took over the Tiando Empire, and you even want to change its name to the Spirit Empire. Bibi Dong felt very unwilling. She originally planned carefully, intending to weaken the strength of the Tiando Empire by wiping out the Seven Treasures Glazed sect, the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family and other major forces within the Tiando Empire, and eventually incorporate it into the territory of the Spirit Hall. However, before her plan could be implemented, it was completely disrupted by Qian Runshui's sudden changes. Qian Runshui took control of Tiando City with lightning speed and successfully took the Tiando Empire into her pocket. She only paid a very small price. It was a huge victory. Moreover, in this battle, Xiao Han not only ended the life of Emperor Shui Yi, but also killed a titled Douluo elder of the Haoshan sect. Before that, the news of Tang Hao's killing had already reached Wuhun City. Xiao Han once again obtained a 100,000-year soul ring. Within 2 years after the end of the Soul Master competition, he was promoted from a fighting soul king to a fighting soul Douluo. Such a terrifying promotion shocked and frightened Bibi Dong. Moreover, Qian Runshui also obtained a 100,000-year soul ring, and the 7th soul ring reached 100,000 years. Xiao Han, what kind of monster are you? Can you achieve such a perverted improvement? Why were you able to find 200,000-year soul beasts so easily? And were you able to kill the arrogant Tang Hao? Why do you always have such good luck? Qian Runshui, why is it you who accomplished this feat and not me? Bibi Dong gritted her teeth, feeling a strong sense of crisis in her heart. She regretted not dealing with Xiao Han in time and watching him become so powerful. Xiao Han not only helped Qian Runshui deal with the enemies of Wuhun Palace, but also helped Qian Runshui win the Tiando Empire. Qian Runshui changed the name of Tiando Empire to Wuhun Empire. This move undoubtedly declared her strength and ambition to the entire Douluo continent. What worries Bibi Dong even more is that Qian Runshui's behavior may shake her position in the Spirit Hall. Bibi Dong knows that there are many people in the Spirit Hall who support Qian Runshui. As the granddaughter of Qian Douluo, Qian Runshui has a very high reputation and influence. Now, she has demonstrated her ability in such a stunning way, which will undoubtedly attract more people's attention and support. No. We must not let her succeed. I have finally brought the Spirit Hall to its current height, and I must not give it to her. The Spirit Hall is mine. The entire Douluo continent will also be conquered by me. I want to get all of this, and then destroy it with my own hands. Bibi Dong secretly swore in her heart that she must firmly control everything that belongs to her. She quickly restrained her anger and began to calmly think about countermeasures. She knew that she could not sit and wait for death, and must take action to consolidate her position in the Spirit Hall and weaken Qian Runshui's influence. During the Tiando Palace incident, the only thing that comforted her was the death of Lu Erlong. Xiaoging, Lu Erlong, that bitch, is dead. Will you come back to me? Your situation will become more dangerous. Only I can protect you. Bibi Dong suddenly thought of the blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family, and a cold smile appeared on her face. Those people have insulted you before. I will teach them a lesson for you and make them die a miserable death. Even if I don't do it, Qian Runshui will not let them go. I can't let Qian Runshui take the credit. Let me do it, haha tilde. Bibi Dong ordered Yu Guan and Gui Mei to briefly state the news from Tiando City, and then ordered. 2 elders, you should prepare immediately and take people to Junlong Mountain to wipe out the blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. Remember, this mission can only succeed, not fail. If you fail to complete the mission, bring your heads back to see me. The 2 elders looked at each other. Please rest assured, Your Majesty, we will complete the mission. Very good. Kill them all, leaving no one behind. Understood. 2 days later, under the leadership of the 2 elders, Zhu and Gui, nearly 10,000 spirit masters from the Spirit Hall marched towards Junlong Mountain. In addition to Yugan and Gimei, there were 2 other elders at the titled Douluo level in the accompanying team. They were bound to wipe out the entire blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. At the same time, on the other side, Tang San brought Yu Xiaoging to the Xinglo Empire and met Dai Mubai. After learning the ins and outs of the matter, Dai Mubai was shocked and angry. I never thought that the crown prince of the Heaven Do Empire, Shui Qinghe, was actually Qian Runshui from the Spirit Hall in disguise. It's that damn Xiao Han again. He not only killed my eldest brother, but also Xiao Ao, Senior Dugu, Teacher Erlong, Dean Flanders, your father, and the elders of the Haoshan sect. Sooner or later, we will tear him into pieces. Whenever Xiao Han was mentioned, Tang San felt heartbroken. Too many people he cherished died because of Xiao Han. Xiao Han has surpassed Bibi Dong and is the #1 enemy he wants to get rid of the most. Mu Bai, the Heaven Do Empire no longer exists. It is about to become the Spirit Empire. Qian Runshui and the Spirit Hall's ambition is to take over the entire Douluo continent. You must prepare early. Well, I know. Good brother, I have said long ago that I hope you can come to help me one day, and now it has finally come true. Come on, let's unite and fight against the Spirit Hall together. With the support of the 3 major sects, the Master, and your hidden weapons that can be used to arm the army, maybe we will unify the Douluo continent. Okay, let's work together for a great cause and avenge the dead. Tang San left Yu Xiaoging in the Xinglo Empire, and then returned to the 7 Treasures Glazed sect alone to convey the news. He traveled day and night, racing against time. He knew that if Qian Runshui recovered, she would come to besiege the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. The situation was critical and the evacuation plan could not be delayed. Ning Fengji had already prepared for the relocation of the sect. After learning of the promise of the Xinglo Emperor, he immediately set off for Xinglo City. Tang Xiao led the 4 elders and 100 sect disciples to escort them. The people of Haoshan sect were shocked when they received the news from Tang Xiao. They did not expect that the 7th elder would die in the Tiando Palace incident. They followed Tang Xiao's order, led the sect disciples down the mountain, and migrated to Xinglo City. After Qian Runshui took over the Tiando Empire, she was busy dealing with subsequent affairs. Guangling Douluo, Zhongmo Douluo and Xiao Han all stayed in Tiando City to guard the imperial city that had just been pacified. After making all preparations, Qian Runshui officially ascended the throne and renamed the Tiando Empire to the Wuhun Empire and Tiando City to Wudi City. Since then, there has been a real empress on the Douluo continent. Chapter 168 The Disaster of Blue Lightning Extermination. A few days later, Qian Runshui received a piece of intelligence that the Qibao Luli sect had fled the Wuhun Empire and fled into the Xingluo Empire. However, she was not worried. The Wuhun Empire had just been established, and the most important thing was to stabilize the people's hearts. Once the situation in the Wuhun Empire stabilized, she would advance the next plan, gradually devouring the Xingluo Empire until the entire Douluo continent was unified. On the other side of the Xingluo Empire, the arrival of Ning Fengji, Tang Xiao and his party was warmly welcomed. The Xingluo Emperor and Dai Mubai personally welcomed them and settled everything for them in Xingluo City. The Qibao Luli sect not only had the strongest auxiliary spirit master Ning Fengji in the continent, but also had two powerful sect-protecting Douluos, and there were thousands of disciples in the sect. The Haoshan sect, including the sect master Tang Xiao, there are 5 titled Douluo and 200 or 300 direct disciples. The joining of two powerful forces has undoubtedly greatly improved the overall strength of the Xingluo Empire. If the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family can also join, the Xingluo Empire will become even stronger. Unfortunately, such a beautiful wish will not be easily realized. Soon after, a shocking news came to the Xingluo Empire. The Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family suffered a genocide, including the clan leader Yu Yuanjun, more than 1,800 people in the family, none of them were spared. On hearing the news, Yu Shaogang was struck by lightning. Before this, he had sent people to convey the news to the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. But the family was unmoved, still waiting and watching, and did not evacuate in time. Unexpectedly, they encountered a genocide so soon. After learning the news, Ning Fengji, Tang Xiao and others were also shocked. Ning Fengji felt fortunate that the 7 Treasures Glazed sect evacuated the Wuhun Empire in time, otherwise it would also be likely to suffer a genocide. In just 1 month, Yu Shaogang lost his beloved woman Lu Erlong, his most trusted partner Flanders, and many relatives in his family. The successive blows made him unable to bear it and he fell ill. Tang San and his friends didn't know how to comfort him. Just when Yu Shaogang was in despair, 2 young men came to Xingluo City, Yu Tianxin and Yu Tianong. Seeing them, Tang San was surprised and happy, and quickly brought them to see Yu Shaogang. Teacher, wake up quickly, Yu Tianxin and Yu Tianong are here to see you. What? Hearing the names of Yu Tianxin and Yu Tianong, Yu Shaogang sat up suddenly. Seeing his 2 nephews, he widened his eyes. Tianxin, Tianong, you are still alive. Uncle, we were training outside and happened to be away from the family, so we were lucky enough to escape. I came to find you when I learned that you were in the Xingluo Empire. Great. You are still alive, the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex spirit is still there, the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family is not extinct, and the sect has hope of revival. That's great. The uncle and nephew hugged each other tightly and cried loudly. The return of Yu Tianxin and Yu Tianong gave Yu Shaogang hope. He knew that as an elder, he had to cheer up and revive the family. A few days later, Ma Hongjun also appeared in front of Tang San and others. He was originally traveling outside, and after learning about several major events that had happened recently, he also rushed to Xingluo City. Dai Mubai, Tang San, Ma Hongjun, Xiaowu, Zhu Zuqing and Ning Rongrong gathered together. When they talked about the past, they thought of Oscar and felt a little disappointed. Ma Hongjun sighed. The Shrek 7 devils are only missing Xiao Ao. It would be great if Xiao Ao was still here. Fatty, stop talking. Okay, stop talking. Ma Hongjun then noticed that Ning Rongrong's eyes were red. Ning Rongrong forced a smile. I'm fine, don't worry. Tang San looked at Ning Rongrong beside him. How could she not be sad after losing the person she loved the most? In order to divert everyone's attention, Tang San quickly changed the subject and said, Mu Bai, I have an idea. What idea? We have an irreconcilable feud with Xiao Han and the Spirit Hall, but the gap in strength between us and them is too big. I am only in my 50s, and you guys haven't even reached level 50 yet. With this progress of cultivation, it is impossible to catch up with Xiao Han. So, I want to make breakthroughs in other aspects to narrow the gap between him and me. You mean hidden weapons? Yes. Tang San nodded and continued. I once heard from Senior Titan that there is a metal capital in the Xinglo Empire called Zhengxin City. There are not only all kinds of precious and rare metals, but also many skilled blacksmiths. As long as I can find special materials and skilled craftsmen, I can develop hidden weapons that can kill titled Douluo level spirit masters. After hearing what Tang San said, everyone was shocked. Dai Mubai said excitedly. Xiao San, are those hidden weapons so powerful? Of course. However, it is also extremely troublesome to develop. Don't worry. I know Zhengxin City, where there are the most blacksmiths in the entire continent. There must be many skilled masters. I can accompany you to take a look. Mubai, if you really want to develop those hidden weapons of mine, it will cost a huge amount of money. Dai Mubai smiled disapprovingly. Don't worry about the money. I'm already the Prince of Xinglo. Can't I solve this little problem? Besides, I've already told my father that I can use the Zug God crossbow you developed to arm the army. I can just find those craftsmen in Zhengxin City to mass-produce it. Ning Rongrong said immediately. Brother San, don't forget, there is also our Qibao Luli sect. After the Li family was destroyed, our hidden weapons were also cut off. Now that you are back, those hidden weapons can be mass-produced again. Our sect has money and can continue to support you. Well, in addition to mass-producing the Zug God crossbow, I will also develop several more lethal hidden weapons to deal with those titled Douluo-level powerhouses, so that they can taste the power of my hidden weapons. Tang San was full of confidence. Although it is difficult to catch up with Xiao Han in terms of soul power, if he has the top hidden weapons of the Tang sect, he will not be so afraid. After learning about Tang San's idea, Emperor Xinglo and Ning Fengji both expressed their strong support. Accompanied by Tang Xiao, Tang San and Dai Mubai went to Zhengxin City for an on-site inspection. The other side. Qian Runshui also received the news that the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family was destroyed. Although she was not directly involved, she understood that this was Bibi Dong demonstrating to her and a challenge to her. However, she didn't take it to heart. Instead, she thought it was a good move. She destroyed the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family without her having to do it herself, except for one big hidden danger. She firmly believed that in the secret contest with Bibi Dong, she would reach the end. After all, she has the blood of thousands of families flowing in her body, inheriting the lineage of Seraphim, and will not let Wuhun Palace fall into the hands of outsiders. Chapter 169 Vast Sea Chenkan cover. In the palace of the Wuhun Empire, Qian Runshui was sitting in a high position, handling a mountain of government affairs. Xiao Han walked in slowly. Seeing Xiao Han, Qian Runshui smiled slightly and put down her work. Xiao Han, you are here. Your Majesty, what's the matter with you looking for me? No. Xiao Han, there are no outsiders here. You don't need to call me Your Majesty. It seems too unfamiliar. Xiao Han smiled. When you were still the prince, I called you Brother Shui, but now that you are a girl, then I call you Sister Shui. Before Qian Runshui could reply, Xiao Han quickly shook his head and murmured to himself. Sister Shui. No. You look so young, and you're not much older than me. This makes you old. How about calling you Shuiye? Qian Runshui's cheeks were slightly red, a little embarrassed. It's up to you, as long as you're happy. Then in private, I will call you Shuiye. By the way, why did you call me here? Qian Runshui raised her head, looked at Xiao Han tenderly, and raised a smile at the corner of her mouth. It's nothing. The situation in Emperor Wu City has been completely stabilized. There are no major issues to deal with at the moment. Didn't you mention to me last time that you wanted to go back to Tianshui City? It's okay now. Grandpa Guangling and Grandpa Zhongmo are stationed at Emperor Wu. They don't dare to attack the city rashly. Okay, then I'll leave today. When Qian Runshui heard this, a trace of reluctance flashed in her eyes. She knew the relationship between Xiao Han and Shui Binger. We also know that Shui Binger is a gentle, kind and considerate good girl, which is very suitable for Xiao Han. Xiao Han, without you, I wouldn't have been able to take down the Tiando Empire so smoothly. I will still need your support in the future. I think you should get the reward you deserve. Xiao Han shook his head gently. You know, I don't care about this. Having said that, you have contributed a lot to the creation of the Spirit Empire. How can I let you go back empty-handed? I want to make you the national master of the Spirit Empire. What do you think? Xiao Han smiled slightly, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. The imperial preceptor is second only to the emperor, which shows that Qian Runshui attaches great importance to him. The title of national preceptor is too heavy. I'm used to being free and loose, so I'm afraid I won't be able to do the job. However, if you don't mind, I can bear the title of national preceptor. If necessary, I will do my best to help you. Qian Runshui smiled heartily. That's very good. I won't restrain you. I just hope that you can stand by my side at the critical moment. As for the reward, you must accept it. Tell me, what do you want? Xiao Han thought for a while and said. Money is something external to me, and I can't even spend all the money in Tianshui City. If I don't want your reward, you will feel bad. I heard that there is a vast Si Chenkin shield in the palace, is it still there? The vast Si Chenkin cover was the national treasure of the former Tiantou Empire. It has always been kept by Emperor Shui. Its preciousness is self-evident. After the death of Emperor Shui Yi, the vast Si Chenkin cover fell into Qian Runshui's hands. Knowing that Xiao Han wanted it, Qian Runshui did not hesitate at all. Xiao Han, your vision is indeed unique. The vast Si Chenkin cover is regarded by Shui Yi as a national treasure, and now I will give it to you. After Qian Runshui finished speaking, she took out the vast Si Chenkin cover from the soul guide on her body. The entire hall was suddenly shrouded in a strong light. The vast Si Chenkin cover is a three-dimensional triangular shape, and the whole body is crystal clear blue. It is only the size of a palm and looks like it is carved from sapphire. Crystal blue light flashes on its surface, and strange energy fluctuations are constantly coming from it, like water ripples rippling on its surface, which looks extremely mysterious. Xiao Han praised. This vast Si Chenkin cover is indeed a treasure. Of course. It's yours now. Before Qian Runshui could finish her words, she handed the vast Si Chenkin cover to Xiao Han. Xiao Han took it carefully, feeling the warm spiritual power flowing on it, and his heart was filled with surprise. With this vast Si Chenkin cover, he can send Shui Binger and the others to Poseidon Island to practice. Xiao Han knew that the creation of the Wuhun Empire was just the beginning, and it would face greater challenges in the future. There are still many powerful enemies that have not been resolved, and threats are always present. Shui Binger and others are not very strong now. In order to prevent them from being plotted and retaliated by Tang San, Tang Xiao or Bibi Dong, it is a good choice to send them to Poseidon Island for training. With this vast Si Chenkin cover, Shui Binger may be favored by Poseidon and become Poseidon's heir. They and their group may all get the opportunity to take the divine test there, thereby improving their strength faster. Saying goodbye to Qian Runshui, Xiao Han strode out of the palace and headed towards Tianshui City. It was already evening when Xiao Han returned to Tianshui City. Some time ago, Lin Zhuro had returned to Tianshui City. She was very happy to see Xiao Han. Xiao Han, you are finally back. Have you finished your work in Emperor Wu City? Well, it's nothing serious for the time being. I'll come back to see you. Lin Zhuro pulled Xiao Han to sit down and said with a smile. Xiao Han, I have something to tell you. Is it good news? Tell me quickly. Lin Zhuro coughed lightly. Dean Zhao is planning to retire, and she wants me to take over as dean. After hearing this, Xiao Han's eyes lit up. Really? That's great. Mom, you are going to be the dean of Tianshui College. I believe that under your leadership, Tianshui College will reach a higher level. Actually, I have always had an idea in my mind. You said. Tianshui Academy used to only recruit girls with ice and water attributes. Because of you, we made an exception. The academy has become stronger than ever because of you. I want to change the school rules after taking over the academy. As long as they are ice and water attribute soul masters of the right age, both men and women can become our students. Xiao Han nodded in agreement. Mom, I've had this idea for a long time. Like Blazing Fire and Divine Wind Academy, which only recruit soul masters of the same attribute, the combination of two soul masters of the opposite sex with the same attribute might give birth to a more powerful one. Where are the descendants? You were right. The Tiando Empire no longer exists, and Tianshui College is no longer the original Tianshui College. It is time to make some changes. The two chatted for a while, and Lin Zhiro suddenly remembered something. Xiaohan, how long do you plan to stay when you come back this time? Maybe I won't be able to stay long. The main thing is that I have a few things to give to you. Xiaohan said, taking out 5 soul bones from the soul guide. Mom, these soul bones all fell from Tang Hao's body. There was originally a right arm bone with a fire attribute, but it was not suitable for us. Qian Runshui used the Titan Ape's 100,000-year-old left leg to she killed me, so I gave her the fire attribute soul bone. Before this, Xiaohan had already mentioned to Lin Zhiro that Tang Hao had soul bones. At this time, Lin Zhiro felt unbelievable when looking at the 5 soul bones glowing with different lights. Chapter 170 Give Shui Binger a Chance. Xiaohan handed Lin Zhiro the most precious trunk bone among the 5 soul bones. Mom, I give you this trunk bone, you can absorb it now. Xiaohan, didn't you promise a few senior sisters before that you would give them soul bones? Mom, I have arranged everything. Binger, Yuaa, Sister Luyu and Sister Qingbo all have soul bones. Sister Haro, Sister Ruoshui, Sister Shuiwu and Lingling don't have soul bones yet, and there are 4 more. I kept it for them. This torso bone was specially prepared for you. Oh well. Later, under Xiaohan's protection, Lin Zhiro fused the trunk bone. That torso bone is about 40,000 years old. After the fusion, Lin Zhiro's soul power was raised to level 87, the same level as Xiaohan. The next day, Xiaohan came to Tianshui College to find Shui Binger. Shui Binger was a little excited to see Xiaohan again. She heard Lin Zhiro talk about everything Xiaohan experienced in the Star Forest and Tiando City. The two exchanged a few words, and Xiaohan said, Binger, I have something important to give to you, and something important to discuss with you. Are the senior sisters still in the academy? They are all here. Very good. After chatting with Shui Binger alone for a while, Xiaohan gathered several senior sisters together. Several people were very happy to see Xiaohan. After a brief chat, Xiaohan went directly to the topic. Senior sisters, I promised you that I would arrange a soul bone for each of you. Several of you already had one before, and today I will also arrange one for Sister Haro, Sister Shuiwu and Sister Ruoshui. As Xiaohan said that, he took out 4 soul bones from the soul guide. Looking at the 4 soul bones glowing with different lights, several people were very excited. Shui Yuaa exclaimed. Xiaohan, you are really good. Where did you get so many soul bones? These all fell from Tang Hao. Tang Hao. 2 years ago, Tang Hao suddenly appeared in the sky above the square in front of the Pope's palace, brandishing a huge clear sky hammer, and almost destroyed the Pope's palace. Tang Hao's 100,000-year soul ring blooming with red light and his unparalleled aura are still fresh in the memory of several people. They never expected that Tang Hao would die in just 2 years. Moreover, he died at the hands of Xiaohan and Wahundian. Xiaohan, we have all heard about you killing Tang Hao in the Stardo Forest. You are really awesome. Xiaohan smiled. Okay, let's not mention the past. Let's allocate the soul bones now. Xiaohan said, handing the head soul bone to Shui Wu. Sister Shui Wu, you are an auxiliary type, and you also have the ability to control the weather. This head soul bone can enhance your mental power, so it is just right for you. Thanks. Shui Wu smiled and took the soul bone. Xiaohan picked up another soul bone, handed it to Yu Haro, and said with a smile. Sister Haro, among all the senior sisters, you and I met first. Before I entered Tianshui Academy, I regarded you as my sister. I'm sorry, but this left arm soul bone came a little late. It can increase your attack power. Quote. Xiaohan, what you say is too outrageous, so I won't be polite. Yu Haro happily took over the left arm soul bone. Xiaohan took another soul bone and handed it to Chu Rua Water. Sister Ruashui, this right leg soul bone is similar to Sister Haru's left arm bone, both of which can increase attack power. I'll give it to you. Thank you, junior brother. There is one last soul bone left. From the shape, it is a left leg soul bone. Xiaohan's eyes fell on Yi Lingling and smiled. Lingling, this left leg bone that can increase speed is for you. Give it to me. Yi Lingling was a little unbelievable. After she and a few others surrounded and suppressed the wolf bandits last time, Yi Lingling stayed in Tianshui Academy to practice and did not return to Tiando City. She didn't expect Xiaohan to give her a soul bone. Before that, Xiaohan had already given her a top-grade fairy grass, Kiluo Tulip, which could change the fate of the nine-hearted Begonia Soul Master. She also got rid of the cursed fate. Seeing Yi Lingling was a little dazed, Shui Binger smiled and said, Lingling, we have long regarded you as one of us. Just accept what Xiaohan gave you. Yes, all of us have soul bones, except you. This is specially prepared for you by Xiaohan. Yi Lingling looked up at Xiaohan, her eyes full of gratitude. Xiaohan, thank you. After that, she carefully took the soul bone. Xiaohan's eyes swept over the few people. Okay, you guys go absorb the soul bones first. After the soul bones are fused, I have something important to discuss with you. Okay. Then, the four of them found a corner and began to fuse the soul bones. Time passed by minute by minute. The four of them all fused their soul bones, and their soul power also increased. Everyone gathered around Xiaohan again. Xiaohan, what do you want to say to us? Several people are looking forward to it. Xiaohan said seriously. You all know that Tang Hao's death is related to me. The 7 elders of Haoshan sect were killed by me. I have offended the entire Haoshan sect. Moreover, Xingluo's eldest Prince Davis was also killed by me, and Dugu Bo, Oscar, Flanders, Luerlong and others all died at my hands. Now, Tang San and others have fled to Xingluo Empire. They all regard me as an enemy. But with my current strength, it is not easy for them to kill me. However, Tang San is insidious and vicious. He is not only good at using poison, but also good at making all kinds of hidden weapons with great lethality. I am worried that he and Tang Xiao will do something to the people around me. Not only Tang San and Tang Xiao, but also Pope Bibi Dong. Although she is also a member of the Spirit Hall, she is secretly competing with Qian Runshui. Her methods are equally cruel, and she might also attack the people around me. With Qian Runshui's personality, she will definitely attack the Xingluo Empire in the next 1 or 2 years, and a bigger war will break out at that time. Maybe during this period, the Spirit Hall will have a civil war. In short, there will be no peace in the next few years. I can't protect you all the time, so I want to send you to a safe place, a place that Tang San, Tang Xiao and Bibi Dong will not think of. That is a very suitable place for you to train, where you can grow quickly and your strength can be greatly improved. After listening to Xiaohan's words, several people are more looking forward to it. Shui Yuer widened her eyes and asked curiously. Xiaohan, what place are you talking about? It feels so mysterious. Xiaohan smiled and said. That place is called Sea God Island, in a sea area outside the 2 empires. Sea God Island. Yes. With your talent and current conditions, if you go there to train, everyone will have the opportunity to obtain a 100,000-year soul ring. A 100,000-year soul ring. After hearing this, several people were shocked. Xiaohan continued. However, there is a prerequisite. Whether you can go there depends on Binger. Me. Yes. Xiaohan nodded, and then took out the Vast Sea Universe cover from the Soul Guide. Chapter 171 Recognition. As soon as the Vast Sea Universe cover appeared, it rendered the entire room a sea blue. The soft blue light fluctuated in the room, and several people couldn't help but be dazzled. This is. Shui Binger looked at the Vast Sea cover in Xiaohan's hand with doubt, and a trace of surprise flashed in her eyes. Xiaohan explained, this is the Vast Sea cover, which can be regarded as a special soul guide. However, in a sense, it is more like a divine weapon. Divine weapon. The few people were even more shocked. Xiaohan did not explain too much, but just nodded slightly. Shui Binger said, Xiaohan, this vast sea cover is too precious, you should keep it for yourself. Xiaohan shook his head. You have also seen the speed of my soul power improvement. I have full confidence in myself. Binger, you need it more than me. This is a master recognition item, which is somewhat similar to the Acacia Heartbroken Red. If you can get its recognition, you can take everyone to the Sea God Island and stay there to train. Shui Binger has the top beast martial soul Ice Phoenix, and her soul power has reached level 63. She has absorbed a 50,000-year-old spiritual skull and has a strong spiritual power. In addition, she also absorbed the King of Flowers, Acacia Heartbroken Red, and had it to protect her body. Therefore, Xiaohan believed that Shui Binger was very likely to pass the test and trial of the Sea God. Seeing Xiaohan's firm attitude, Shui Binger no longer refused. She also knew that Xiaohan had more important things to do and had no time to accompany them to practice. Okay then. Xiaohan, what should I do next? First try to inject a little bit of spiritual power into the vast sea of heaven and earth, just a little bit. Good. Shui Binger carefully took over the vast sea Chenken cover. The triangle blooming with blue light was quietly suspended in the palm of her hand. Everyone's eyes were focused on Shui Binger, and they were all looking forward to what would happen next. The atmosphere was a little tense. The room was extremely quiet, you could only hear each other's breathing. Xiaohan smiled and said, Binger, don't be nervous, take your time. Shui Binger took a deep breath, then activated her mental power and slowly injected it into the vast sea Chenken cover through her fingertips. As soon as her mental power came into contact with the vast sea Chenken cover, it was like a stone sinking into the sea. Immediately afterwards, a counterattack force surged in, slamming her mental power back. Her whole body seemed to be pushed by an invisible force and flew backwards. At this critical moment, a brilliant red light suddenly bloomed from her body. That was the unique light of lovesickness red. It seemed to be consciously holding Shui Binger gently and sending it back to the ground steadily. This sudden scene made everyone in the room scream in surprise, and the tension was palpable. Xiaohan stepped forward and asked Shui Binger with concern. Binger, are you okay? I'm fine. What did you feel just now? Shui Binger's eyes flashed with shock. The mental fluctuations within the vast sea are like the vast ocean, deep, vast, and so powerful that it is unimaginable. As soon as my mental power touched it, it was easily bounced back by that powerful force. Quote. Xiaohan frowned slightly. It was just as he expected. Fortunately, Shui Binger's mental power was strong enough, and she also had lovesickness red to protect her body. Binger, this is the vast sea Chenken covers test for you. Don't be nervous. Just try putting a drop of blood on it and see. Good. Shui Binger nodded. Although she felt a little uneasy, she was always full of trust in Xiaohan's words. She gently bit her fingertip, and a drop of bright red blood fell on the sharp corner of the vast sea Chenken cover. The moment the blood came into contact, the vast sea Chenken cover seemed to come alive. The blue halo on her surface began to fluctuate violently, and then gradually turned red. With the integration of blood, the vast sea Chenken cover seems to have created a wonderful connection with Shui Binger's fingers. It adhered tightly to Shui Binger's fingers and would no longer loosen. And the red halo is becoming gentler. The atmosphere in the room became subtle due to this change, and everyone held their breaths to witness this incredible scene. Shui Binger's vision gradually became blurred, and she seemed to see a faint blue light floating out from the vast sea of heaven and earth, condensing into a faded shadow. A calm and old voice suddenly appeared in her mind. This blood tastes good, and I finally found someone who can withstand the power of the vast sea. The halo on the surface of the vast sea Chenken mask suddenly converged, escaped from the wound on Shui Binger's finger, and fell directly into her palm. In an instant, it turned blue again. However, a red light flashed in the center of its interior. Yi Lingling was about to treat Shui Binger when a shocking scene happened. The wound on Shui Binger's finger miraculously healed on its own. She seemed to have fallen into a coma, and her body fell backwards. Xiaohan quickly supported her. Several people gathered around, a little worried. Xiaohan, what's wrong with Binger? Will you be okay? Don't worry, everyone, Binger is fine. As Xiaohan spoke, his eyes fell on Shui Binger's right hand. He found that the vast sea Chenken cover was lying quietly in Shui Binger's palm. It has changed. Although the whole body is still sea blue, the bright light that originally circulated on its surface has disappeared. At this time, it looks like an ordinary sapphire. Shui Yue'e and others also noticed this and were a little surprised. Xiaohan, how did the vast sea Chenken cover become like this? Xiaohan smiled slightly and explained. It shows that Binger has been recognized by it. Really? That's great. Several people were a little excited. Everything that happened in the room just now was really weird. The energy of the vast sea Chenken cover was too huge, and several people were a little worried about Shui Binger. Xiaohan put Shui Binger on the bed, looked at Yi Lingling, and said. Binger is a little weak now, Lingling, give her some strength. Good. Yi Lingling then released his sacred heart and begonia martial soul, and with the shining of the soul ring, golden light slowly fell on Shui Binger. The endless power seemed to form a warm barrier on Shui Binger. Shui Binger's face gradually turned rosy and her breathing became even. Xiaohan said. It may take some time for Binger to wake up. You guys should go and rest for a while. I'll stay here and watch her. After a few people left, Xiaohan waited quietly beside Shui Binger. He knew that Shui Binger was feeling the vast sea of spirit at this time. Time passes minute by minute. Shui Binger's consciousness gradually recovered. She opened her eyes drowsily, and a familiar face came into view. Xiaohan smiled slightly, his eyes were full of tenderness. Binger, you're awake. Chapter 172 The Road to Godhood. Shui Binger found that her hands were being held tightly by Xiaohan. Feeling the warm power, she felt an indescribable joy in her heart. Xiaohan gently helped Shui Binger up. Shui Binger felt as if she had slept for a long time. Xiaohan, it's already dark. You must have been here for a long time, right? It didn't take long, just a few hours. How do you feel now? I just seemed to have gone to another world. I really didn't expect that this small vast sea Chenken cover actually contains such powerful energy. Well, it is an artifact after all, and you have already obtained its approval. Shui Binger walked out of bed, a little confused, and said with a smile. Xiaohan, how do you know that I have obtained its approval? I'll try it for you and you'll know. After Xiaohan finished speaking, he picked up the vast sea Chenken shield in Shui Binger's hand and input a trace of soul power into it. The trace of soul power disappeared like a mud cow entering the sea, but the vast sea Chenken cover did not change at all. It only flashed a blue light slightly, and then returned to normal. Binger, look, after it absorbed my soul power, it didn't react violently. But it's different for you. You try infusing it with soul power. Shui Binger nodded, and then urged her soul power to slowly inject into the vast sea Chenken cover. A strange scene appeared. With the injection of Shui Binger's soul power, the vast sea Chenken cover suddenly bloomed with blue light, seeming to come to life. The precious light flows on it, and the blue light waves ripple throughout the room like seawater. Several people outside the house were attracted by this powerful blue light, and were stunned the moment they pushed the door open. Sister is awake. This vast sea Chenken cover has returned to its original appearance. It's so mysterious, it makes people feel like they want to worship it. Shui Binger felt the vast sea Chenken cover's desire for her soul power, so she increased the input of soul power. The blue light in the room is getting stronger and stronger. The vast sea Chenken cover slowly floated up from Shui Binger's palm, spinning slowly and uncontrollably in front of her. While everyone was astonished, a blue light suddenly penetrated into Shui Binger's eyebrows. Shui Binger's body trembled, and she felt a huge amount of information rush into her brain instantly through mental transmission. She seemed to have entered a wonderful world with endless blue sea and sky. Bits of information passed into Shui Binger's mind, seeming to tell her how to use the vast sea Chenken shield. Another blue light disappeared into Shui Binger's eyebrows. Immediately afterwards, her entire body was wrapped in a layer of blue light, and her body floated off the ground uncontrollably, slowly suspended in the air. The vast sea of heaven and earth was spinning in her palm, and the blue light on her body became more intense. Circles of blue fluctuations continued to form around Shui Binger's body. The entire body was rendered blue, and there was blue light in her eyes. Xiao Han and others were shocked when they looked at the situation in front of them. However, they could clearly feel that layer of blue light was beneficial to Shui Binger, just like the golden light released by Yi Lingling's Holy Heart and Begonia martial spirit, which could protect her. Time passes minute by minute. When Shui Binger woke up again, it was already dawn. Binger, you're awake. Several people gathered around with Xiao Han. Feeling everyone's concerned gazes, Shui Binger exclaimed. This vast sea Chenkin cover is really amazing. Shui Yue couldn't help but ask. Sister, does it bring you any magical abilities? Shui Binger nodded. Let me go outside and show it to you. Several people came to an open space outside. A blue light flashed in Shui Binger's eyes, and the vast sea Chenkin shroud floated in front of her without any warning, following her side as if she had been ordered. Under the expectant eyes of everyone, Shui Binger stopped and said. Xiao Han said it is a magical weapon, which is not an exaggeration at all. I have now mastered how to use it. As Shui Binger spoke, the blue light in her eyes suddenly became stronger. A blue triangular pattern appeared between her eyebrows. Under the control of her thoughts, the vast sea Chenkin cover soared into the sky and flew over everyone's heads. Immediately afterwards, it expanded rapidly, 100 times in the blink of an eye, and blue light fell from the sky, covering Xiao Han and the others. The world around them turned into a blue world. They seemed to be covered by a transparent triangle cover, but they could still clearly see everything outside. Shui Binger explained. This is one of the uses of the vast sea Chenkin cover. It can protect us in it. We are invisible in this cover. Not only the body, but also the breath can be hidden. After Shui Binger finished speaking, she gently waved her right hand and took back the vast sea Chenkin cover. Shui Yue sighed. Sister, this is so useful. With its protection, you won't be afraid of no matter how dangerous the place is. That's right, this is its first skill, called the Vast Sea Protective Shield. Yue, I'll test its next magical effect on you. Okay. Shui Yue was a little excited. Shui Binger threw out the vast sea Chenkin cover in her hand, and it suddenly enlarged, covering Shui Yue's entire body. Shui Yue suddenly felt that her body was tightly trapped and she couldn't move. Sister, I can't move. Shui Binger smiled slightly and took back the vast sea Chenkin cover. This is his second skill, called the Chenkin Concentration Shield. It can immobilize anyone with less than 3 times my spiritual power. Binger, this is too powerful. Shui Wu couldn't help but sigh. Xiao Han smiled and said. Binger, it should have other skills, right? Shui Binger continued. There is also a third skill called Vast Sea Raging Waves, and a fourth skill called Heaven and Earth Breaking Demons. These 2 skills are both used to attack. The power of the attack increases as my soul power increases. The 4 soul skills it brings to you are very powerful, and they should also consume a lot of your soul power and mental power. That's right. The one that consumes the least amount of my soul power is the Vast Sea Protective Shield. It only requires 10% of my soul power to last for 12 hours. The Vast Sea Turbulence is a group attack, and the Chenkin Breaking Demon is a single target attack. The 2 soul skills are so powerful that if they are used once, they will almost use up all my soul power. Xiao Han nodded happily. These soul skills were exactly as he expected. The Vast Sea Chenkin Shield greatly improved Shui Binger's strength and opened the door to the road to becoming a god for her. Xiao Han looked at a few people and said. Binger has mastered the use of the Vast Sea Chenkin Shield, and we can set off to Poseidon Island. Although going to Poseidon Island to practice is a rare opportunity, it is also full of dangers. Everyone, go back and prepare, we will set off tomorrow. Xiao Han planned to send Shui Binger and others to Poseidon Island, and then come back to deal with the Star Luo Empire with Qian Runshui. With no worries, he can flex his muscles. Friends, I won't write down the experience of Shui Binger and the others on Poseidon Island, but just give it a brief summary. Close black lens bracket. Many people say that Poseidon and Shira god are the same as each other. It is true, but Yasan has not even entered the killing city, so he has no chance with them. There is a vast sea Chenkin shield. It is useless if you don't use it, and Shui Binger and the others are not strong enough now. They are of the water attribute, and passing the Poseidon god examination will give them a chance to become gods. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 173 Flower Protector. Xiaohan and his party of 9 took a large carriage and headed west. A month later, we arrived at Hanhai City, a coastal city in the west. Xiaohan took a few people to take pictures of a nautical soul guide, the Longyuan boat, in the spirit fighting arena. He also bought nautical charts and some supplies, and then rented a boat and went to sea. After more than half a month of sea voyage, they were not far from the waters of Poseidon Island. Xiaohan was not in a hurry to go to Poseidon Island. Because, after this period of practice, Jiyu Qingbo, Shen Luyu, Chu Ruishui and Yi Lingling have all exceeded level 50. Xiaohan hunted several sea soul beasts with 10,000 years of cultivation together with them, and helped them obtain their first 10,000-year soul rings. At this point, all of them have reached level 50 or above. Among them, Shui Binger has the highest soul power, reaching level 64. Xiaohan and his party sat in the Longyuan boat and continued sailing according to the navigation chart. In the distance, a small black spot appeared on the horizon. That is Poseidon Island. Using the Dragon Abyss boat and the vast sea Chenkin cover, Xiaohan and his party passed through the bottom of the sea and directly landed on Poseidon Island. This holy land in the sea, shrouded in legends and mysteries, finally appeared in front of Xiaohan and his party. My eyes suddenly opened up, as if I had stepped into a whole new world. On the island, there are green trees and lush vegetation covering every inch of the land. In the distance, the mountains stand towering and the clouds and mist surround it, just like a fairyland. The sea breeze blows gently, bringing with it the salty fragrance of the sea and the unique fresh floral fragrance of the island, which makes people feel relaxed and happy. The sun shines through the clouds and onto the golden beach, shining with delicate and warm light. Several people stepped onto the soft beach. Before they had taken a few steps, a voice suddenly came from the forest in front of them. Who are you? How dare you trespass on Poseidon Island? Immediately afterwards, several figures suddenly emerged from the woods, blocking everyone's way. They all have different looks and ages. The oldest is in his 40s and the youngest looks to be less than 20 years old. They are all wearing uniform light yellow clothes. Long Chen knew that the Sea Soul Masters on Poseidon Island were divided into different levels according to the color of their clothes. From low to high, they are arranged according to the cycle of colors, which are white, yellow, purple, black, and red. However, their level classification has nothing to do with their own soul power. It only represents the difficulty with which they withstood the Poseidon's test. The people in front of them all wore yellow, and they were obviously the second class just above the white-clothed soul masters. Xiaohan stopped and said, "Hello everyone, we have traveled thousands of miles to come here. There is no harm in taking the liberty of landing on the island. We just hope to pass the test and join Poseidon Island." The middle-aged soul master who led him looked Xiaohan up and down, and was suddenly shocked. He could clearly feel that the young soul master in front of him was stronger than him. The girls next to this young soul master are all not simple. Are you land soul masters? That's right. We are both ice and water attribute soul masters. The so-called ice and water have the same origin. For us, Poseidon Island is a very suitable place. The middle-aged soul master said coldly. It seems that you still know something about Poseidon Island. However, it is impossible for you land soul masters to pass the test and join our Poseidon Island. Even if you are ice and water attribute soul masters, it will be difficult to do so. You are still young, don't risk your life because of your impulsiveness, just leave as soon as possible. Shui Binger he exchanged a glance with Xiaohan, took a step forward and said, Senior, we have come from afar just to pass the test of Sea God Island. Now that we are here, how can we leave easily? If we don't try, how do you know that we can't stay? The middle-aged soul master looked at Shui Binger with an indescribable feeling. There seemed to be an invisible power in Shui Binger that made him unable to resist. It seems that you young people have a pretty good cultivation. However, the test from Lord Poseidon has nothing to do with cultivation. Everything is subject to his will. Moreover, once you accept the test, there is no possibility of quitting halfway, even if it is for this reason. Are you really ready? Yes, we are ready. On the way to Poseidon Island, Xiao Han had already reminded Shui Binger and the others that the test from Poseidon was cruel, but they all expressed their willingness to accept it. Seeing their firm attitude, the middle-aged soul master said nothing more. Then come with me. I hope you won't regret it. Xiao Han suddenly said. Senior, I sent them here specially. They will not stay on the island to be tested. Can you go with them? I will leave after they finish the test. The middle-aged soul master frowned. From your tone, it seems that you also know something about the test process of Lord Poseidon. I just know a little bit. Okay then, come with me. Afterwards, led by the middle-aged soul master, the group crossed the forest and came to a pond. The diameter of the pool is about 500 meters. In the center of it there is a triangular platform with a strange stone pillar standing on it. There were complex patterns engraved on the stone pillar, and an invisible and strange energy emanated from it. Xiao Han knew that was the Seahorse Holy Pillar. Under the Seahorse Holy Pillar, sat a soul master in black. When they arrived at the pool, the yellow-clothed soul masters seemed much more restrained. The middle-aged spirit master introduced Shui Binger and the others. This is the sea within the sea. In the center of the pool is the Seahorse Holy Pillar. The Seahorse Holy Pillar is one of the 7 holy pillars on Poseidon Island. Lord Poseidon spreads his will through the 7 holy pillars. Any holy pillar you will receive the test from the sea god here, which is the key to whether you can stay on the sea god island. After the middle-aged soul master finished speaking, he bowed towards the triangular platform and activated his soul power to transmit his voice over. Your Excellency Seahorse, a land spirit master is here to take the test. Please allow me to do so. The black-clothed soul master under the Seahorse Holy Pillar suddenly opened his eyes, and strong soul power fluctuations emanated from his body. Xiao Han knew that he was a powerful titled Douluo level warrior. Shui Binger and others also felt that man's power. Seahorse Douluo said indifferently. Only land soul masters who have crossed the sea within the sea and come to the Seahorse Sacred Pillar are qualified to accept the test from Lord Poseidon. After he finished speaking, a blue halo lit up from behind him, and the entire Seahorse Holy Pillar also lit up. A blue light spread out from the top of the Seahorse Holy Pillar, forming a light curtain 10 meters high. The test that Seahorse Douluo mentioned was to let Shui Binger and others pass through this light curtain and reach the Seahorse Holy Pillar. This is not a problem for them at all, because they are all water-attributed soul masters and have excellent water skills. The girls looked at each other, understood each other tacitly, and quickly formed a 3-2-3 formation. Chapter 174 2 Top-level assessments. Shui Binger, Yu Haro and Shui Yuei stood at the front. Yi Lingling and Shui Wu were in the middle. Ji Yu Qingbo, Chen Luyu and Chu Ruishui were at the back. Yi Lingling and Shui Wu are auxiliary soul masters with relatively weak attack power, so it is somewhat difficult for them to pass this test alone. Therefore, Shui Binger planned to lead everyone to rush forward together. Be prepared. As soon as Shui Binger finished speaking, several people released their martial spirits and spirit rings together. In an instant, the bright light was dazzling. Under the blue light curtain, the waves suddenly surged and the sea water became turbulent. When seeing the martial spirits of Shui Binger and others, Seahorse Douluo was shocked. The Ice Phoenix martial spirit, the Jade Dolphin, and the Azure Sailfish are all water attribute spirit masters. When seeing Yi Lingling's martial spirit, Seahorse Douluo's eyes suddenly widened. What kind of martial spirit is that? Nine-hearted begonia. But why is it golden? Just as Seahorse Douluo was exclaiming in amazement, Shui Binger and a few others passed through the turbulent sea water at lightning speed and came directly to the Seahorse Holy Pillar. Seahorse Douluo looked at Shui Binger and the others, with a hint of admiration in his eyes. I didn't expect that you are all water attribute soul masters, and you have reached the level of 5-ring soul king at such a young age. This Ice Phoenix Soul Master has even reached the level of 6-ring Soul Emperor. As Seahorse Douluo spoke, he set his gaze on Yi Lingling. Your martial spirit is very special. It looks like a 9-hearted begonia, but it's not. What is it? It was indeed a 9-heart begonia before, but later evolved into the sacred heart begonia it is now. I see. When I was 18, I hadn't even reached level 40, but you are all above level 50. Among all the young spirit masters I've ever seen, you are the most powerful ones. Shui Binger smiled slightly. There is a more powerful one among us, but he is not here to accept the test from Poseidon. Can he come here to witness the test questions that Poseidon gives us? There are more awesome. Let him come. Okay, thank you. After Shui Binger finished speaking, she waved to Xiao Han opposite. Xiao Han's figure flashed and he was in front of several people in the blink of an eye. Seahorse Douluo was surprised. He could clearly feel that the young soul master in front of him had the strength of a titled Douluo. It is simply unbelievable that someone so young has such great strength. Seahorse Douluo immediately became alert, suspecting that Xiao Han and his party had other motives. I have been staying on Poseidon Island all these years. Are all the young soul masters on the mainland so powerful? It seems that you are not just here to challenge Lord Poseidon's test, right? Shui Binger said sincerely. Senior, to be honest, in recent years, there have been constant disputes on the land. We are here to practice in order to improve our strength as soon as possible and protect the peace of Douluo continent. Seahorse Douluo nodded doubtfully. Okay, no matter what the purpose is for you to come to Poseidon Island, since you choose to accept Lord Poseidon's test, everything will be arranged by Lord Poseidon. Let's get started. Who of you will come first? The girls' hearts tightened. They knew that the real test was about to begin. Before landing on the island, Xiao Han had already arranged the test sequence for them. I'll come first. Shui Yuee was the first to stand up, and walked to stand behind Seahorse Douluo. Following Seahorse Douluo's operation, a blue beam of light fell from the sky, covering Shui Yuee's entire body. The colors on the Seahorse Holy Pillar are also constantly changing, from blue, white, yellow, purple, and then to black. Seeing the color change on Shui Yuee's body, Seahorse Douluo was a little shocked. The Seahorse Holy Pillar was soon covered with black light patterns. Immediately afterwards, 6 black rays of light appeared in front of Shui Yuee at the same time, turning into a 6-sided square light curtain. On every light screen, golden words flashed. It turned out to be the 6th black level exam, 2 more exams than I had before. Little girl, do you know what this means? I know it means it will be difficult for me to pass Poseidon's test. However, I have confidence in myself and will try my best. Xiao had told them a long time ago that the tests given by Poseidon are also divided into levels. From low to high, they are white level assessment, yellow level assessment, purple level assessment, black level assessment and red top level assessment. Moreover, there may be several more different tests for assessments above purple level. Shui Yuee's optimistic attitude surprised Seahorse Douluo. Okay. Your assessment is very difficult, but it also means that you have greater potential. I wish you can successfully pass Lord Poseidon's test. The next one is ready. Next are Yu Haro, Ji Yu Kingbo, Shen Luyu, Chu Ruishui and Shui Wu. All 5 of them have passed the 5th black level examination. Seahorse Douluo gradually lost his composure. The 6 people in the previous test were all black level assessments, and the difficulty coefficient was not low. He had not encountered this situation for a long time. Seahorse Douluo's eyes fell on Yi Lingling and Shui Binger. You 2 are the only ones left. Who comes first? I'll go first. Yi Lingling took a step forward. As the test began, Seahorse Douluo was completely shocked. The Poseidon's light continued to change, and finally turned into a blood-red light rising into the sky. Thousands of soul masters on Poseidon Island were all shocked by the blood-red light almost at the same time. It turned out to be the top 7 exams. The red light gradually faded away, and Yi Lingling's body gained a layer of faint red light. Seahorse Douluo looked at Yi Lingling and felt unbelievable. The top red assessment appears too rarely. The last time it appeared, it was Bo Saixi's assessment. Nowadays, Bo Saishi is already the great worshipper of Poseidon Island. Seahorse Douluo bowed slightly and said to Yi Lingling, Miss, I am honored to be your examiner. If you have any needs on the island in the future, you can come to me and I will do my best to help you solve it. Senior, there must be very few top 7 exams on Poseidon Island, right? That's right. Don't worry, from the first appearance to the present, there has never been a record of failure in the top-level assessment. As long as you pass the top-level assessment, you may become the person in charge of Poseidon Island in the future. After hearing this, several people cast envious glances at Yi Lingling. Yi Lingling smiled and said, Senior, Binger hasn't tested it yet. Maybe there will be a bigger surprise. Only then did Seahorse Douluo realize that among the girls, the strongest one had not yet been tested. Are you ready? Well, we can start. As the test began, the colors on the Seahorse Holy Pillar continued to change. Seahorse Douluo was shocked again. It turned out to be another top-level assessment. There were 2 top-level assessments on the same day. This special scene had never happened before. A scene that shocked Seahorse Douluo even more appeared. A huge buzzing sound came from the Seahorse Holy Pillar, and then, a blood-colored light pillar that was even larger than when Yi Lingling tested it rose into the sky.